a bit like you, Robbo. I just think Melbourne's playing for too much here today. They've got to finish in the top 4. Their midfield is very good, but then again, I think the Dockers got a good midfield as well.
Very blustery too. That wind is quite strong down there at ground level.
Yes, we'll see what impact that has. It is very swirly here at Colonial when the wind blows through the middle. And underway we are. Woden getting the first kick and making it tough, though, is Norwich and Sinclair. Nothing decisive yet. Fletcher will try and change that situation. Coops, he went a long way back to find some space, but he did that okay out to Prescott. And he drives it long. Nicholson with the job on Modra, which is interesting. Modra kicking 10 against Melbourne at this time last year. Coops again has another chance. Some space this time and overdid it. And really could have just about gone for home then.
Very surprised there, Huddy didn't go for home. He was only 40 metres out, and that's his job being a half-forward flanker to kick those goals, but decided to try and find someone deep in the pocket. You're better off having a shot for goal.
Well, he was on the run, wasn't he? And he kicked the ball from inside 50, and it covered the boundary line quite easily. So certainly the distance may not have presented too much for him. The kick goes out towards the centre wing area. Overrunning it was Walsh, dispossessed. Woden well tackled by Norris. Looks as though Norris has got the job on Woden. Hazelby beaten for it by Leon Challey. Cook, who's worked very, very hard for Fremantle this year. Chance there for Jones. Can't get the ball quite forward enough to influence that Fremantle play. And it goes over for a boundary throw-in just forward of centre wing.
Young Paul Hazelby started on a half-forward flank. He's been picked up by Peter Welch, number 42 for the D's.
Very much the raging hot favourite to win the Norwich Rising Star, Paul Hazelby. Fletcher, who's been a great servant of Fremantle since crossing over. A ball right in front of the Fremantle goal. Now chances with Simmons. He gets the handball to White. White from half-back, keeps the ball very low, lands it in front of Robertson. Couldn't control the football. Back goes Uze, helped out by Leon Challey. Ball spills to Cook. Back onto the left goes Cook. Hand pass, Jones straightens up and then kicks straight to the opposition in Leon Challey,
who gets Melbourne forward to half-time for perhaps the first significant time. The ball close to the boundary line. Cook just overrunning it, then had support from Jones. Goes again. Jones flat-footed. Wasn't a great handball, really set him up. Leon Challey close to the line, and Cook able to keep it in, just bang it onto the boot and getting it to half-forward. Good tight work, and the Dockers able to keep it alive. Black's handball though very wide. Simmons, who's been impressive, got a couple of demons inboard, tries to find them a little dangerously, but gets Woden. Now Schwartz streaming onto the ball and into the sunshine. Farmer might come into play, hasn't quite yet. And the Dockers are able just to hold things up. Neat's back in the lineup, gets it back to Schwartz, who didn't have a shot, centred it instead, and that was terrific play. And Anthony McDonald takes the mark.
Looks like Leon Challey now leaving the ground here, being replaced by Simon Godfrey playing his first game.
I think his finger. Yeah.
Finger, is it?
So a shot at goal for Melbourne. And it's McDonald from about 40 metres. Hits it pretty well. First goal of the game to Melbourne. Anthony McDonald, the goal kicker for the Demons, and they open their account. The match is about 5 minutes old.
And a good year this fella, Robbo, young Anthony McDonald, just adds to the midfield of Woden, Lee and Challey, of course, Regani and Power. It was a kick from David Schwartz. We just saw Coops earlier go inside 50 and kick the ball out in the full. That was a great kick by David Schwartz to find McDonald. Good football by the D's.
Leon Challey being attended to by the medical staff on the boundary line as players restarted. Powell playing his 50th game, Stephen Powell. The Melbourne cheer squad banner paid tribute to both Stephen Powell, the 50-gamer, and Jamie Shanahan, the retiree. But this bloke is a long way from retirement, one would think. Jeffrey Farmer, and he's taken the mark much the same position as Anthony McDonald was when he kicked the goal only a moment or so ago.
Good to see young Simon Godfrey get a handball in that too, Robert. You talked about him early in his first game.
Farmer, terrible kick. I guess we have to make some allowances, but gee, that was a bad mistake by Jeffrey Farmer He just didn't kick it at all well, and eventually coming off the hands of a Fremantle opponent over for a boundary throw-in.
Just got too close to the mark there, Robbo. His opponent's young James Walker, I think, can play a bit of football. So that'd be a great contest for young Walker, picking up the brilliant Jeff Farmer.
Oh, we saw Norwich there, right with Shane Woden. The other end of the ground, young Daniel Shell is lining up on Ingerson. We talked about the wind, the temperature, no problem with that. And certainly fine and sunny conditions. Just packed football in there. Powell trying to find a way through. He did really, but Cook went straight back into trouble. Now Powell again, he is a goal kicker. Does the discipline thing and centres it. Uze and Green.
Great mark.
Green takes the mark. And he is a real goal kicker. He's kicked 16 goals for the year, but really has had limited opportunities in the last few weeks, though that has really changed. And he has become a real option for them up forward. He's played 14 games, but a lot of them would have been on the interchange bench.
Yeah, a lot of courage too, young Brad Green. The good thing about that, eyes were on the ball. He didn't move away from the football. He knew quite well he was going to back in a bit of trouble, took the punt, and his eyes stayed on the ball and was rewarded with a great mark there by Brad Green. I saw him last week, he kicked 3 or 4 goals. And the good thing about this young fella, he can kick the ball nice and long as well.
Well, we saw him here against the Kangaroos about 3 weeks ago, and he just pinpointed 3 goals through from similar accuracy required, straight through the middle, and he's done the job.
Well, that's a good start there for the Demons, and no doubt today there'll be a big contest in the ruck. Daniel Bandy, I have a lot of time for as an on-ball ruckman's got the job on Jeff Watt, who's been in outstanding form. And there's a discipline thing, I think, as you called, Hutto, about squaring the ball up there. Instead of having a shot there, Stephen Powell has had an outstanding year.
Ooh.
And the courage there from Brad Green was just absolutely brilliant. His own teammate, I think it was Adam Uze, cleaned him up there as well. And a brilliant goal by him.
Green, the goal kicker, along with Anthony McDonald for Melbourne. And the roof wide open here at Colonial Stadium, so the conditions just a little bit difficult for the players to contend with. Powell with Bootsma. Gathered in the finish there by Brown. Then kicked forward for the Demons in the direction of Neitz. His opponent, Pavlich, dispossesses Neitz. Back goes David Neitz. In turn, Dodd. He can't break away. A real scramble at left half forward for the Demons, and eventually the boundary umpire will take control and it will be thrown in about 55 metres around from the Melbourne goal. Looks like it might be Walsh, is it? No, Godfrey coming off the ground, and he's being replaced by Leon Celli. So that was the change that was initiated when Leon Celli hurt his finger. So back into the fray goes the consistent midfielder Andrew Leon Celli. Must figure in the top 3 in Melbourne's best and fairest, one would think, based on his performances this season.
Good to see the 3 umpires this afternoon includes my old mate Johnny Harvey out there. Good afternoon to the Harvey family. The ball about 60 out from goal, grabbed by Fletcher, dispossessed. On top of it is Powell, almost thrown away by McDonald. Melbourne have really loaded up forward. They've got 5 players that are really capable of kicking lots of goals. Not much happening there. When you look at it with Neitz back in the team, you've got Neitz, Swartz, Robertson, Green and Farmer. It's a good balance too, isn't it, between big and small players?
Certainly is, I don't doubt about that. And down in the Dockers forward line, they're going to rely on Clive Waterhouse to be their goal kicker. Matthew Collins has got the job. He's been in and out of the Melbourne side, so it's a big job for Collins as well today.
Cook kicks onto the wing. Coops, but backing back and taking a very solid mark is Daniel Ward. Coops is an important player for Fremantle. Does give them that little bit of liveliness through the middle of the ground and through the half forward line. Good combination by the Demons in Walsh. Just so good at shrugging off those tackles. Wasn't a great kick. Still a chance though. It's 40 out from goal. Prescott over the top of it. Scratching, trying to get it. Jones found a way through. Made it tough for Fletcher, who could have got a free kick. Didn't. There's Walker going in. Getting the handball, well, not really out of trouble. Demons able to keep it alive. It headed towards the boundary line again, and Ingerson, who's come a long way up the ground with young Daniel Shell, sees it out.
I just get surprised sometimes, Robbo, with the Dockers sometimes when they try and overuse the football. When you've got a forward line set up of Modra and, of course, Waterhouse, you've got to get the ball quickly and give them a chance to be one-on-one.
I agree with that.
Interesting that White has pushed forward from this throw-in and he's dragged Daniel Bandy with him. So the Demons really looking to stretch the Dockers for height up forward. Walsh might go in that direction. White will come at this one, and he didn't end up really going for the mark. Tried to spoil. Jones could have got a free again for holding on. Bootsma kicked it out towards the boundary umpire. He had nothing else on offer, and it was a good kick in the end.
It's a bit of an arms struggle here at the moment. I mean, the D's have kicked the first 2 goals. Dockers have probably only gone inside 50 on a few occasions. Here we are, some of the possessions here. Melbourne's had 15 kicks, 9 handballs and 5 marks. The Dockers are 9 kicks, 15 handballs. So opposite around.
And yet to take a mark according to those
no
stats, Doug.
Yep.
So the Fremantle side across half forward, Walsh got time to recover and then gets the handball across to Collins. Collins nearly run down by Waterhouse, kicks the ball to half forward, spills to the back, under pressure Clement, grab, didn't have the ball, play goes on to straighten up Powell, handball away, Schwartz, flying shot at goal, and the Demons have got their 3rd on the scoreboard. David Schwartz kicks a goal. Melbourne 3 goals, 18, Fremantle yet to score.
Well, there's some early concerns here for the Dockers, no doubt about that. I know, as I said to Tony earlier, it's 3 goals at the moment. It's just the way the D's are going inside their 50 and doing it fairly easy. We see Powell here, step out. I thought he was going to kick for goal here. Inside 50, Melbourne 7 to Fremantle Dockers only 2. And there's Schwartz now. I reckon the D's are kicking against probably a 2 or 3 goal win.
So, early challenge for Fremantle now is just to get back somewhere like on level terms. The Demons have dominated. Hazelby gets the ball onto Boot. His first kick of the afternoon. They need a marking option. Shell tried to provide it. At least brought the ball to ground. Coops' kick into Modra wasn't bad, but just a little bit too strong. Oh, don't tell me! That was amazing. That would have been the most amazing goal of all time, just about, Dougie.
Unbelievable, wasn't it, Hutto? Yeah,
it nearly hit the behind post, and yet still he nearly went. It still almost went through for a goal.
That just kept coming. The Melbourne player just stopped there, young Welsh, and just hit the post at the bottom of it.
So Uze to kick in and finds his fellow midfielder in Leon Celli and turn to Rigoni, providing great running support. Guy Rigoni goes short. The lead was honoured. Good lead too by David Neitz. He read that from a fair way up the field. Provided a target and was honoured with probably a nice little kick in the finish. It didn't have a lot on it, and Neitz able to run in and take the chest mark quite safely. And if he kicks a goal, that will be 3 of Melbourne's goals will have been kicked from much the same area. He has kicked and missed. So Neitz, the first blemish on the scoreline for the Demons. 3-1, 19, lead Freo behind. Funny old kick coming in from Stephen Coops. Bouncing all the way around and nearly going through for a goal in the finish. Pavlich to bring it back into play. You speak about an advantage with the wind. I think when you get down at either end, Doug, you'll just feel down at ground level, it is just so strong it's not funny. I nearly got, when I went down to interview Neil Dano, I nearly got blown off my feet. It was that strong coming out of the tunnel down there where Melbourne came onto the arena. Ingerson's handball missed its target by a big margin. Hazelby dispossessed. McDonald. Rigoni front on tackle provided by Coops. Umpire is forced to bounce.
Just struggling at the moment, Robbo, in the midfield, the Dockers. Adrian Fletcher's only had the 3 touches. Young Hazelby's only had three or four touches himself. Then again, he did start on a half-forward flank. But it's a midfield area that's certainly getting beaten this stage of the game.
Big punch forward there by Neitz. Now a chance is for Dodd. Dodd's short kick is all right, and the mark is taken by Fletcher. Oh, he was in 2 minds, and then messed up the hand pass. Gave it to his opponent in Woe Woden. His kicker towards the forward pocket region. Gathered by Robertson. Now kick forward by Green. Smothered off the boot. And a boundary throw. And you look at the hair on that young fella's head there.
Green, yeah.
And you can see it really blowing strongly, the wind down there at ground level. 3-1, Fremantle, just to behind. Dodd again. Oh, gee, if you take a risk there, he was lucky. He probably got the advantage there of the umpiring decision. The umpires are John Harvey, Justin Schmidt and Corin Rowe. Corin Rowe indicating there that the tackle on Dodd was too high, and his short pass has given the opportunity for Pavlich.
So the Dockers trying to find a path out of defence. Prescott with the ball. He's got Dodd on for a short pass, but again, that's going very wide. Well, he has to pretty much do that anyway. Goes a little bit longer. Coops weighted down and flying over the top. Fuster, who takes the mark, is a talented player. Doesn't always get the most out of that talent. Good push off from Waterhouse that time. Should have the edge and experience against Collins. Sends it long towards full forward. Cook comes from behind. Didn't take the mark. McDonald, Lee and Shelley. And they can run again and really get them going out to the outer wing. Uze onto the left boot, out to Robertson, who's a long way from home. He goes to ground and does do that quite a bit. Goes inboard to White. Still 65 out from goal. Able to lay the handball off. Ward sets the pass up. Farmer, oh, he dropped it. Again, maybe the wind having an impact, but Farmer might do it the hard way. Farmer does it the hard way.
He doesn't. He hasn't.
He has to make it look harder than it is, and he kicks it.
Well, we just marvel at the skills of this bloke, Jeff Farmer. Just a bit earlier, the Dockers did brilliantly. They went forward, they kicked the ball nice and long in the Waterhouse. The ball was turned over. Young Troy Cook went for the mark. He should have stayed down. But here we are. This bloke is a wizard. I mean, that is just... That's not a
miraculous.
fluke. It's not a fluke, Robbo. He's tried to do that. That is brilliant. Great pressure too by young James Walker to put him under that pressure. Great goal by the Wizard.
I think what Hutto said was right. Don't take the mark, do it the hard way. Amazing stuff there by Jeffrey Farmer to register Melbourne's fourth goal. They lead 4-1 to 1 point.
Considering he missed one from 30 metres out directly in front before.
Fletcher kicks the Dockers to within scoring distance. The ball spills to the back, gathered by Nicholson. Collins dispossessed by Waterhouse. Modra! Oh, he's done that a few times in his career, Tony Modra, but on this occasion just misses to the left. Couple of behinds now for Fremantle, 4-1 to 2 points. There's a few fans here. The cheer squad had a good banner for the players to run through. We're watching Adam Uze kick it out for Melbourne. Great mark taken by Ingerson.
Could be 50 there.
No, it certainly shouldn't have been. Good umpiring. Oh, it wasn't a good kick though, not good decision making. Black quick with the handball into the open spaces. No, went through Norwich. Shelled him well to knock it out. But Uze, well trapped. Was he tripped or was he caught?
Caught in possession from behind.
Umpire let it go. Now Hazelby, can he put it through? Handballs it out, sets it up. Shell back to Waterhouse. Standing start. Had to get the leverage onto it, and he managed to do that and straighten up. So Fremantle on the board, and it's Clive that kicks it through with his second kick of the day. 1-2 playing 4-1 here at Colonial.
Well, just the difference between the two sides at the moment. Here we see Uze. I agree with you now, Rob. That was a good tackle by Cook. I thought it may have been a leg, but no, he was dragged down from behind. And there we are. Good pressure there from the midfield. Cook again, a great tackle once again. And there's the brilliant hands of young Hazelby to set this play up here. Brilliant goal there to Waterhouse. That's his job.
Good to see a youngster playing just his third game. Hutto's already mentioned Daniel Shell. He had the presence of mind not to try and have a snapshot himself. Gave the hand pass off to Waterhouse, who did well to kick the goal. It's up to half forward for Melbourne. Kicked out of there by Dodd, and it'll be thrown in about 65, 70 metres around from the Melbourne goal. Demons have kicked 4-1, Freo are 1-2.
Sorry, Robbo, I think too with Daniel Sheldon, when he gave the handball to Clive Waterhouse, he put a block on, he put a shepherd. A lot of kids would give the handball, stop, think they'd done their job. He continued on his merry way, did a good job.
Yep, very good stuff. Freo across their half-forward line. The hand pass came out from McDonald. He'll get it back. He'll have a shot at goal. Kicks it rather ordinarily to the front of the goals. Umpire's found a free kick. It is going to... Looks like, is it Neat's going to get it right in front. Holding onto his jumper was Matthew Pavlich. The umpire was in a good position. He was only 10 or 12 metres off to the right as the ball came in.
Wasn't a lot in that one, Rob, I don't think. Just looking at the replay.
Well, it's going to register another goal for Melbourne because David Neitz is only 12 metres out directly in front, and he pops it through for a goal for the Demons. David Neitz gets his first, and if I was in the coach's box for Fremantle, what I'd be concerned about is the ease with which Melbourne have kicked their 5 goals, albeit that Jeffrey Farmer popped one through from close to the boundary line, but just not enough physical pressure being put on the players on that forward line for Melbourne.
That's a terrible decision.
It is, you're dead right, Robbo, no doubt about that. When the Dockers go forward, it's just a scramble forward. It appears they're sort of hoping to get a goal, but the D's are doing a lot easier inside 50.
Well, Matthew Pavlich can count himself pretty unlucky, I reckon. And that free kick to David Neitz didn't seem to be a lot in it. White giving them first use with a really big climb into the air. Cook trying to turn things around for Fremantle. They need to get the ball moving a little bit quicker and get it into their forward line. But that's not the way to do it. Prescott's kick taken by Daniel Ward. Swartz presents himself on the wing. He can go short to Powell. Still could go short to Powell. No, he doesn't. He goes along at a half forward. Robertson needs. Oh, it went past both players into the danger area. But
looked like young Walker, I think.
Walker kicking it onto the wing. No mark there. Shell. Ingerson with him. Powell taking it away. Advantage taken by and driven down by Nathan Brown towards full forward, and backing back, taking the mark is David Neitz. No, he played on. No. Mustn't have gone off his line. He very nearly did.
What a great luxury he's really Neil Daniher has with David Neitz coming back in the side to play at full forward. You've got Swartz at centre-half forward. Just so important, Anthony Ingleson down at centre-half back, so that it allows Neitz to play up forward. He must do a big job at centre-half back.
Could kick his second here in a minute. Neitz does the job. What a start by Melbourne. 6 goals to 1.
Judged that a hell of a lot better, didn't he, than his opponent. I think his opponent there was Brendan Fuster. But maybe the ball coming in, we'll have another look here, Doug. That's Ingerson, Powell. And the kick came in from Brown. Just watching what happens here. Jumping early, Fuster?
Yeah, jumped too early. I think Pavlich may be playing at full back on Neitz, but got caught out of position on that occasion. But he just jumped too early, Fuster, on that occasion.
So 6 goals won in a quarter that still has 5 minutes to run. So it could be possibly an 8-goal quarter if the Demons keep going at this rate. Kick forward by Bootsma. Taken there by Brown. His high kick. The ball lands at half forward, judging it better again. The Melbourne players are controlling the air. Robertson has marked, and he's only 40 metres, maybe a little closer, 35 metres out directly in front. And what a great position to shoot for goal from. They've had 3 or 4 shots from in that corridor, which makes the angle inconsequential.
No doubt, Robbo. 6 marks inside 50 for Melbourne, none to the Dockers.
Robertson shoots for goal. They've got their 7th on the scoreboard, the D's.
Well,
just looks like a walk in the park. You can't play football with any impressions of having a walk in the park.
Well, it's always going to be the concern, the fact that the Melbourne have a more dangerous forward line, and I've touched on it earlier. They rely on Waterhouse and, of course, Modra, who's a 100-goal kicker, to be kicking their goals. But with Melbourne, they've got so many players up in their forward line who have the ability to kick 3 or 4 goals. That is the difference between the two sides.
7-1 to 1-2. Brilliant start by Melbourne. Can the Dockers do anything about it? They've got 4.5 minutes in this quarter to try and do something. Fletcher getting them moving. Hazelby versus Walsh. Good battle, that one. Well done, Hazelby, because Walsh is a very tough man. Shell went to ground but took the mark. So that's well done. Now Bandy has pushed forward, was on his own for a minute. Oh, that's disappointing kick for him.
Why would you do that?
Young fellow, not a good decision making, but the execution in particular wasn't good. Leon Shelley goes out very wide. Jones sees it over away from Robertson's hands.
I just reckon too, Robbo, maybe a move for Damien Drum could be the fact you got Clem Michael on the bench. Maybe bring him onto the ball, into the ruck to run with Jeff White, and maybe push Bandy forward to be the chance to get a mark inside 50, because they've had no one's taken a mark yet inside their 50 forward line.
Fair point.
Yep, good suggestion, I would say.
Well, 7-1 to 1-2. A couple of changes wouldn't go astray because that scoreboard is very, very lopsided. And gathered by Walsh. Goes across to half-back where White has made good position. Plays on. Athletically gets behind Coops. And the kick has been taken by Uze. Uze in towards full forward. Bandy getting back. Nearly the mark to Farmer. Crumbs attempted there by Neitz. Couldn't quite control the football. Pavlich is there for the Dockers. And the umpire calls for a bounce. 7-1 to 1-2. Melbourne lead.
Bandy now playing a kick behind play. Or more than a kick behind play. The loose man in defence. Just trying to fill up those holes 30 metres out from Melbourne's goal. Fuster able to get it down, and here's Bandy running onto it. Now you look up, he's got a one-on-one battle out wide with Hazelby. And this time opposed to Ward.
Hello, I just wonder with Bandy there, not just Bandy, but some of the Dockers players, why kick the ball to a 50-50? Kick the ball over the top, put it to a bit of space to your advantage. I mean, if you're going to go short, you've got to find your target. You can't make it a 50-50 contest.
Fletcher doing the ruck work. That's because Bandy is well off the pace, way behind, as I said, playing that loose man in defence. So Melbourne 7-1 and Fremantle 1-2. Nathan Brown goes short, dangerously so.
Difference is, though, he at least hit his target. The Dockers are missing.
Yep.
Collins did well then too. He followed the ball up himself.
Able to get it away to Brown, and a long kick into the danger area again. The path cleared by Swartz, but he gave it up by just getting the handball away. Pavlich's kick out towards the boundary, and it's over now. Black pursuing it, and we'll see a throw in. 7-1-43 to 1-2-8, and there's just 2.5 minutes remaining in this opening quarter.
Gee, a couple of good ball getters sitting on the bench with Clem Michael too, Callaghan and McManus.
Yeah.
And when your scoreboard looks like this, I just can't believe that the interchange would not be used a little bit more to try and, even just to try and confuse the opposition.
You're correct, Robbo.
Waterhouse, short kick, and Bootsma is marked.
That's
so
their first
close
mark.
to.
Yeah.
It's the first mark, is
Inside
it?
50.
Inside 50. Well,
and he's playing on half-back flank, I'm tipping. Young Bootsma.
Well, with 2 minutes left, they might kick their second goal, but still they've been completely outplayed by Melbourne in this first term. The real good thing about the Demons, apart from Farmer's snapshot against the boundary line, their goals have come from straight in front. Mongrel punt kick, goal! Well, Gerard Healy spoke about Woomer bangers. Well, I reckon that was a double, triple Woomer banger, that.
That certainly was, no doubt about that, Robbo. We see Bandy going forward, as Hutto mentioned, he's playing a kick behind the play. Good play by Waterhouse here. He gets back quickly, he doesn't turn his back on the play, chips the ball over to young Bootsma. No, I say young Bootsma, he's 27 years of age, but a good, a shot and kick, but a goal.
Well, Peter Hudson.
Yeah,
now, you would have seen a heck of a lot of Peter Hudson. He kicked goals from everywhere in that 50-metre arc, and they went through in every different way. But by gee, he could kick straight, Peter Hudson.
7-1 to 2-2, so Fremantle getting one late goal. Can they get another one in this quarter?
Oh, good smother.
Yeah, good pressure, and that's the sort of pressure that they need to apply. Long kick, though, out away from Ward onto the wing. Well trapped by Rigoni. This is Lian Chally now as the Demons advance. Pumping it along to full forward. Oh, great leap. Neitz is dominated in the air. And you would think, well, you'd wonder how long he'll stay with Pavlich as his opponent.
Well, there's a perfect example there, Hutto and Robbo. I mean, the fact that when Melbourne side do get the football, they go back to the corridor. When they do get forced out wide, they're prepared to kick it long, back into their forwards to be one-on-one. That has been a difference as well for the Ds.
What a quarter by the Demons. They've kicked 8, and Neitz has kicked 3 of them. Great return for David Neitz.
I guess, Doug, when you talk about that, if you've got the confidence, we've got, Hutto mentioned about the great blend of the smaller roving type in Farmer, but the 2 high-marking forwards in Schwartz and Neitz. The boys must have tremendous confidence in their ability, first of all, to compete, and then if they've got the opportunity to take a spectacular mark like that.
No doubt, Robbo. When you're a midfielder, you look up and you see a Neitz and you see a Swartz and that. It goes back to my day. You looked up, you saw a Beasley or a Templeton. You just kick it long to them. You know quite well, one-on-one, it can be very hard to beat.
He had some hope, didn't he?
No doubt.
The key forward. Kick forward by Woden into the forward 50. They've got it again.
He's good, this kid.
I've underestimated their ability. They've got 8. They'll probably get 9 in the first term. He has got a lot of natural talent.
This kid, the cricketer,
cricketer and tried out for Manchester United under 15s.
Has he made the right decision? I think he might have. Well, would you like to play for Australia, Hutto?
Manchester United would have been able to pay him a bit if he could have got a game in the opening lineup, couldn't he? A little bit more than the AFL footy. But anyway, he's decided on AFL football. He has already kicked 1.
Oh, go back to soccer.
And that kick has missed. And that is the quarter-time siren. They did get 8 goals. They kicked 8 goals to Melbourne. Damien Drum, the Fremantle coach, down to address his players. And they do have some concerns. 8-2 Melbourne. 2 goals to Freo, a 6-goal margin in favour of Melbourne at quarter time.
Would you reshape the side, Dougie, or would you just say, let's just try and chip away at this?
No, I'd change the side around, Hutto. I'd chuck Bandy forward and I'd chuck Michael on the ball and I'd bring Sean McManus onto the ground. He's very important in midfield.
Dougie Hawkins looking at this match, Melbourne and Freo. It's the first quarter belonging to the Demons.
He's good.
He does freakish things, we know that. Yep. Call him the freak, don't we?
Yep, he's just the freak and he's the wizard.
8-2-50 to 2-2-14. I think that was the siren. A couple of times. We're ready to start the second quarter. The sun gradually being overtaken by the shade here at Colonial Stadium as we're underway. As we said, Michael into the ruck, handballing it backwards, but they get it away. Bootsma, grubby kick right along the ground.
Oh, well
get
played.
away with it though. Hayes will be terrific to get it out to Coops. Out to Cook. What was that?
What was that?
It was a left foot kick by a player who has trouble kicking with his left foot.
He's a right footer, we know that. It must be very windy down there.
Oh yeah, look, I was, as I said, I was down there to interview both those coaches.
He kicked it into himself, actually.
It would be very difficult, but Melbourne have made it look quite simple.
Well, Michael giving them a chance again, giving them first use. Prescott came through, couldn't really take it with him. Black, Waterhouse gets there, just gets it back. Hazelby gets through, well done. Handball just let him down a bit. Coops, maybe he can produce something off the left boot. A bouncing ball. Modra hasn't had a sniff, really. And the ball through for a behind. Modra's had just the 1 kick.
It's come in pretty good for him too, hasn't it?
Yeah,
and I say that with my tongue firmly planted in my cheek.
It's been very ordinary, Robbo, the delivery. But just to say this, he's made a few moves, Damien Drum. It's good. Bandy's gone now into the forward line. Michael has gone on the ball. That move could have been made a little bit earlier, I thought.
Gee, McDonald getting away from Fletcher there, marking the kick in, and then quickly, all of a sudden, it's right inside the forward 50 for the Demons. And Fuster got the handball away to Bootsma. Bootsma's kick out towards the wing, 1-on-2, and the one player is a Melbourne player, and he's going to come out on top. That's Nathan Brown. He's dumped as he kicks the ball. It bounces at the feet of Green. He does well, doesn't he? Gathers the ball quite nicely in the finish. Back to Brown, back to Green. Green kicks the ball high into the forward 50, punched away. At the front of the pack is Powell. 50 gamer Stephen Powell, dispossessed on the 50-metre line for Melbourne. Rigoni is underneath that pack of 3 or 4 players, and the umpire will call for a bounce.
I'll tell you what, both clubs have some very exciting young talent. Number 25 you mentioned, there's Nathan Brown. There's a couple of the younger players sitting on the bench yet to have a run here for the Demons. Nathan Brown's been very good off half-back flank, and Brad Green, of course, number 18, has been a very good player.
And it looks to me as though the Fremantle boys have been given an instruction, just if they're going to get the ball, make them feel it. They look a little bit more intense at the start of the second term.
Well, wasn't much in that, was there? Powell, centre and kick, and he's all on his own, Adamuzze. Floating down to take the mark, and he's about 35 to 40 out.
It just staggers me how a player can be on his own. I mean, when you've got a player, I'm pretty sure Adamuzze was playing on the wing. I know quite well that Prescott had him early in the first quarter. The move may have been changed, but that's just bad marking. You've got to pick your man up. Simple as that.
Well, here he is, Uze. 35 points the difference already. Makes, well, not as good contact as he would have liked, hitting the post. Maybe he had bad memories from a couple of weeks ago because he had the chance to win the game against the Kangaroos and couldn't do it.
Hutto inside 50 in the first quarter. Melbourne 19 to the Dockers 8. Marks are at 21, 8 inside 50 to the Melbourne club. 9 marks for the Dockers, 2 inside 50.
Dockers with the football. Bootsma gets pretty good distance out towards the wing. Well done by Kickett. Hand pass missed its target, put Cook under enormous pressure, and they are dispossessed. Well, Powell made a mistake there, a rare mistake by a Melbourne player. Bootsma kicks it forward. A bit of a contest at half forward. That tackle a little high, according to the umpire in that area, and it is Coops kicks the ball across the half forward line, and the mark is taken by Bandy. Now, you mentioned about Bandy maybe going forward to try and put some pressure on the Demon defence. Well, if he can kick a goal here, it'll be the first goal of the second term and a very important punishing goal for Fremantle. They've been outplayed so far. Bandy's kick is very good. It's a goal to Freo, kicked by Daniel Bandy. Daniel Bandy kicks his first goal. Fremantle get their third, 8-3 to 3-3. Melbourne by 30 points.
Yeah, a bit of hard work there to get the ball forward. Dale Kicker took a terrific mark. Stephen Coops, great vision by Stephen Coops here. He went back, he looked up, he saw Tony Modra was covered, and there's a switch kick to find Daniel Bandy. And the move has been good by Damien Drum to move Bandy forward.
So 8-3 to 3-3. Maybe that'll help Fremantle just chip away at the Demons and just edge back into this game. Black's handball is out wide. Norwich just getting boot to ball. Cook, who's been good for them so far as number of possessions goes. Wasn't the greatest kick in the world, but it was at least to the right side of Waterhouse. Fighting on and scratching on his Collins, and he does well in the end, wins out. Couple of options for him. One in short was Walsh. That's where he goes. He looks up. Hasn't got a great deal ahead as far as loose men goes, but he's got a couple roaming wide at half forward. Robertson got edged under it by Clement. Goes again. Schwartz sneaks in. Had something in mind. A little handball at the back. Green over the top of
the
it.
ball.
Free kick.
Oh, he missed the Melbourne free kick and then gave the Freo one.
Black gets it away. Dodd back to Hazelby. And again, it's a bit scrappy. Well done, Fewster.
Yeah, it was too, Hutto.
Able to put the hand to the chest. The tackling, breaking technique and drive it long. Numbers with Melbourne, but Modra got into good position and takes the mark.
But what happened? They got it up there reasonably quickly, didn't they? He was one against two, but it certainly the kick was there for Tony Modra to use his body.
When you got a player like Modra down there, one-on-one, he's very, very hard to beat, but when you want to chip it around and play around with the football, it is amazing.
Is this game complicated, Doug?
No, it's very simple. It's a very basic game, Robbo. Kick the ball long to Tony Modra, one-on-one, he'll do the job for you. Starting to sound like a coach, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
I'm a frustrated coach.
You caused enough trouble for coaches in recent weeks,
That's
Dougie.
what?
Oh,
no!
Would you believe it? Modra into the man on the mark. And McDonald takes the mark as the Demons suddenly turn their defence into a tackle. It was going to be an attack. Lee and Shelley.
The easy way out there. He blew the whistle for the mark and then gave the free
He did,
kick.
yeah.
Let's have another look at that in a second.
Dear
we
me.
can.
This is a comedy of errors.
Tony Modra, please go back and kick the goal.
8-3 to 3-3.
Push out.
Powell sending it high. Neat, lurking dangerously, couldn't take it. Robertson charging through, trying to get boot to ball, not able to do it. Clement and Black able to get the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. Let's have a look at a couple of these. Lee and Shelley. Well,
the tackle was all
That's a
right.
great
it was
tackle.
fantastic tackle.
Troy Cook's had about 6 or 7 tackles, and they've been first-class
But he
tackles.
blew the whistle to
For the
avoid
mark.
the mark,
You're right,
and that was the easy way out.
Yeah, it was.
Back live with Hazelby.
Good
This
step.
kid can play.
Dodd, scrappy kick. Up to the wing.
Well done.
Yeah, very good. work again. Troy Cook's getting even more of the footy
and
now.
if they took a leaf out of the hard-working players and they all lifted their output, I'm sure that they could be in this game. The scoreboard says they trail by 5, but it's not a huge margin.
Fletcher quickly onto the left boot, looking for Waterhouse. Just a little bit too much depth on it. And it's Walsh who needs to get some support. He might find it with Nicholson. Modra chasing after him. Good chase from Tony Modra, putting the pressure on Nicholson, who in the end just dribbles it onto the wing. Wasn't a bad kick in itself, though, because Swartz was coming out, almost threw that away. Nicholson fired up, got the handball away. White able to wobble onto his right boot and send it to half forward. Robertson in front. The crowd love him. They rise when he goes near the ball. Cook, well, kick it might have been well tackled. Grabbed by Swartz. Again, good tackling by the Dockers. Swartz gets the handball out wide. Green trying to finesse maybe a bit too much, but Powell, he overdid it as well as the Dockers working hard. And Bootsma eventually takes the mark.
Good smother in that passage of play from Dodd.
Yep.
And eventually Bootsma gets the ball to Walker. Walker, he'll have to be very, very disciplined if he's to try and control Jeff Farmer. Short kick, Norrish. Back to Walker. Doesn't mind carrying the ball, James Walker. Forced to kick with the left. Wobbly old punt kick. Equally as wobbly as it bounces. Gathered by Collins. Handball to Leoncelli. Back to Collins. Collins down the ground. Kicks the ball in towards half forward. Punch from behind. Farmer tried to crash his way through. Melbourne fans screaming for a free kick. Not forthcoming. So the umpire will bounce about 40 metres from the Melbourne goal.
I think you said Robbo before, and it may have been Hutto, but gee, the Dockers certainly have lifted their work rate. They're having a fair dinkum go ahead. They've put enormous pressure on the Melbourne midfield. That's what they had to do, and they certainly are doing it at the moment.
That was a good non-decision. That one wasn't it. Definitely wasn't a free to Farmer.
Nah, no free there.
Fuster doing the ruck work. Gets first hand to it. Goes wide. McDonald gathers. Shot at goal. Way offline, out of bounds on the full. Free kick back there to be taken by Dodd. No. And it may, yes, it is Dodd eventually that will take the free kick. Matthew Pavlich runs down to try and provide him with a target. He goes further to Waterhouse. Gathered here by Collins. Handball off. Hand pass goes out from McDonald. Walsh to the front of the goals. Melbourne looking for a mark. Not forthcoming. At the base of the pack, Jeffrey. Kick it. Powell, Rigoni. Flying shot at goal by Rigoni is out on the full as well. And this is the key. In the first quarter, they were marking, having set shots at goal and converting. Now, being put under pressure, they're making a few mistakes, and all of a sudden there's a bit of uncertainty in the minds of the Melbourne players.
Norwich takes it away. Modra streaming out well. Just can't take it. Nicholson was right there with him. Trying to...
throw.
Was there a throw? No, the umpire says play on. Walsh.
Oh, yes.
Woden. Out to Collins, and they're away again, the Demons. Green just cleared a path and let White come in from the front and take the mark. Too far out to score. Swartz might be a target doubling back, but Neat's coming out. Pavlich with him. Swartz doing the roving. Johnson is clear. Just on the ground. Good pass. Good vision too. And Green takes the grab.
That was just good football by the Melbourne side there. David Swartz instead of trying to kick the ball over his shoulder, fed the handball back here to Travis Johnson. As you said, Ardo just came on the ground. Last week he got poleaxed late in the game when they played St Kilda, and that was just great vision by Travis Johnson. He's an exciting young player.
We talked about Brad Green earlier. He's kicked 1-1. And he has a habit of taking marks directly in front of goal too, so that's to his credit. From 30 out, he slots it. Melbourne answer back with a goal.
Well, they have been struggling so far in the second term to just break loose the Dockers. I mean, the Dockers have lifted their work rate. They put enormous pressure on the midfield. Once again, as we said, David Swartz twisted and turned and feedback handball, and that was an absolute brilliant kick by Travis Johnson. Set up Brad Green for his second goal. He's now been picked up by Dale Kickett.
Melbourne 9-3, Fremantle 3-3. So Freo with one goal in this term, and Melbourne with one goal. Kick forward by Rigoni into the left forward pocket. Walker and Farmer. Farmer gets rid of Walker. Now it's out on the full, isn't it? No, it may have come off a body. Boundary umpire has decided to throw it in. We have established that Fremantle, wearing black armbands in respect to the Chief Executive Officer, David Hatt, who we believe David Hatt's father died during the week. If anyone in Perth is wondering what that's all about. So our condolences to the Hatt family. Fremantle working overtime to try and clear their half-back line. Still a chance. No, Prescott confronted. Leon Celli, handball back. Bootsma's had a fair bit of the footy. Gets it over his left shoulder in the direction of Coops. Eventually taken over by Ward, and it'll be thrown in on centre wing.
You're right, Robbo. He's been very good, Brad Bootsma, off a half-back flank. He's had 12 kicks now, 1 handball and 3 marks, and he's kicked a goal coming down the ground, so he's worked very hard in the half-back line.
Michael infringes by going over the top. Free kick to Jeff White.
Ex-Freo player.
Yeah. 9 hit-outs he's had today, Jeff White. 3 marks. Nice. Good solid contact in the Swartz direction. Who pointed to ground, pointed in front. Leon Celli lays it off. Uze puts it through.
What's the big word that comes from the Melbourne fans when he gets it? Is it Uze?
Uze, I think it is, Robbo.
Because when he does get it, it's like the Carlton fans
there
when,
is a chant.
when Christo used to get it, etc., etc.
I'm not sure if they say anything at all.
Thank you very much, Hutto. There was good hands there by Leon Celli to set that goal up there for Uze, and his opponent is Ashley Prescott. I'd look at maybe McManus coming onto a wing.
My word.
I think he can play on a wing.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this guy figures in Brownlow medal votes.
Uze, yeah, classy left footer. Yep, stand out.
So back at the centre, Jeff White has played a very good quarter and a bit so far. Uze again, caught, shrugged the tackle, handball, leaving it behind was Woden, kicked away by Bootsma. Hazelby and Black combined. Black's kick was very poor by his standards. Kicked forward by Brown. Mark nearly taken by Neitz. Over the top where was Fuster, looking for the free kick, the Fremantle boys. But the umpire has decided to bounce about 40 metres from the Melbourne goal.
I'll tell you what, Rob, I'll tell you what, Jason Norris has done a very good job. He's got the job on Shameway Woden. He's only had 6 touches, Shameway Woden, and Norris has had 5, so he's been pretty good.
Fair point. This is Black. Black, who is very much a midfielder, but he's kicked back to a 3-on-1, which favours Melbourne. Travis Johnson falls over. Cook dispossesses. Well done by Troy Cook. Brown goes in. Cook's kick off the ground, gets it inside the forward 50 for Fremantle. They've got to get a goal here, don't they? Handball over the top. Modra, look away handball, went too far, and Melbourne will get out of trouble. You wouldn't believe it. It looked an absolute Monty that the Fremantle side were going to score, and now Melbourne will carry the ball all the way down the ground. Johnston kicks it into the forward 50, not quite the forward 50, kicked away by Black. Out towards the wing position, where Collins has taken possession. He's well tackled. Ball spills to Hazelby. Hazelby goes in the direction of finds Modra. No, brilliant defensive work by Nicholson. Collins a little high there by Hazelby, but the umpire allows play to go on and it'll be thrown in right half forward for Fremantle. Fremantle are 3-3, Melbourne are 10-3. It is a 42-point advantage enjoyed by Melbourne.
You see a few players falling over, Robbo and Hutto here, a couple of times, unforced mistakes by losing their balance and losing their feet.
Very rude of you to laugh at them too, Dougie. Rigoni gets the ball through half back, and Demons away. Uze again, not able to take the mark this time. Dodd's handball, crunch on Black, who did pretty well to recover and feed it out. Clem Michael found Fletcher. It's all fairly stagnant as he looked up. That's a pretty good kick. Just had too much on it for Bandy. The idea
he could have gone a bit harder.
Got to mark those.
Of course he could have.
Yeah, the idea was certainly right. Robertson, was he hanging on to some jumper there of Clement? Umpire lets it go. Black takes the mark from Clement's kick and then goes again to Bandy. Couldn't take the mark. Smacked away by Woden. Good pressure though, the Demons able to keep it alive.
Gone!
Great tackle.
Well tackled, but he's still got hands clear. Leoncelli had to work hard to hoik that ball back inboard. Michael picked out Bootsma. Now Prescott, they can move and run. Waterhouse, the ball out in front of him. Will it sit? Yeah, sort of. Then he fumbles it and goes again. Cook's leading back into the square. He's going to be in best position to mark. Needs to use his body against Walsh. Didn't quite do that. Sun might have been a factor. Whatever the case, they're out of trouble now. Nicholson on the end of Brown and McDonald's work. And out onto the wing. Collins will try and push clear. Kickett wouldn't let him go. Well done, Kickett. Forcing the turnover. Well done, Waterhouse. Getting it back to Kickett. Unloads it. Good kick this time in the Modra direction. He should be able to find the middle this time. Tony Modra. And yes, he kicks it into the second tier.
Well, they're still making hard work of the Dockers. They're still chipping the ball around, trying to create some opportunities up forward here. Dale Kickett, I think you called out, was a great smother. I think he put Matthew Collins in 2 minds, and it was good play by him. And this is the bloke you've got to get the ball down there very quickly to be one-on-one. Nicholson, I don't think he's played a lot of football at fullback, so it'd be unusual for him. Cook's been terrific too. He's had 11 touches, and he's had 6 very, very hard tackles. Been outstanding.
So Tony Modra kicks the 4th goal for Fremantle. They're second in this term. But more importantly for Fremantle, they've managed to hold Melbourne up. Melbourne kicked 8 goals to 2 in the first quarter. So far, 2 goals apiece in the second term. Appealing for the free kick was Michael. Woden industriously at ground level. Powell, Fletcher the tackler. The kick goes forward there from Godfrey. It's right in front of goal. Chance there for Green. This is a goal. Goal to Farmer. He was always onto that, wasn't he, Jeffrey? Second goal to Farmer. And breaking loose of the shackles there, the Demons, to get their 11th goal. They lead by 42 points.
Always going to get that, no doubt about that, Robbo. Here we see young Godfrey playing his first game, kicked the ball forward. The ball come over to Green, play by Green while pushing the ball forward for his teammate. Robertson tried to get it forward, and there's young James Walker just caught off the pace there on that occasion. Good goal by Farmer. A move's being made by Damien Drum. Prescott is off the ground now, who is playing on Adam Uze. It looks like Sean McManus has come onto the ground for his first run for the game.
Maybe you should be a coach, Dougie. Out of the middle, Michael gets the ball forward. You wouldn't want to, though, would you?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Ingerson well wrapped up, 40 metres out from goal.
They had a few more zeros to his contract, Hutto. There might be second thoughts.
I love working with you blokes. I'm happy to sit here.
11-3-69, playing 4-3-27. So it must be a frustrating day for Damien Drum and all those in the Dockers coaching box. Uze, the handball out, and a kick from Collins. Brown right over the line and out of bounds. So 69 playing 27 here at Colonial Stadium.
And that's Troy Simmons preparing to come back onto the ground. He started on the ground. He's been on the bench now for a fair part of this first half. Knocked forward. Black and then Hazelby. Hazelby's kick in the direction of... nearly marked at Waterhouse. Being helped. I'll tell you what, I reckon he did a little bit of the pushing out, didn't he? How was the left arm to keep the Melbourne player away?
Geez, I'll tell you what, Robert, have a bit of a look at this one again. He stood his ground here at Clive Waterhouse.
I reckon he was happy to throw the left arm out to keep his opponent away.
You think it was 50-50? You would
play
let
on.
that go? Let it go.
Play on. Yep.
I'm not going to disagree with you, Robbo, there. I won't disagree with that one.
Waterhouse has been paid a free kick for holding against his Melbourne opponent. So Clive Waterhouse, the chance to kick his second goal. And he's missed. Off to the left. 1 goal, 1 to Clive Waterhouse. Disappointing.
Here we are
there.
again. I wasn't much in that one, Robbo. I think
I
you're
wouldn't
right.
have thought that it was worthwhile. I mean, then you've got to make sure that the decision is exactly right, because you're telling me that the Melbourne player is holding, whereas I thought Waterhouse was using his left arm to fend his opponent off.
Onto the wing, Robertson had the big fly, misjudged it. Rigoni, long, Farmer lurking, Neats at the back. Farmer, play on, and bang!
The wizard.
Oh, he's kept us entertained again this afternoon. 3 goals to Jeff Farmer.
Oh, I tell you, well, I just thought here in the contest here, good play by Rigoni, kicking the ball nice and long inside 50. I just thought over the back was going to be David Needs to go for the mark, but Jeff Farmer just read the ball better than the 3 guys making the contest there. Now he's kicked 3 goals and been very good.
Pavlich actually took out his own teammate, then made it easier for Farmer.
Yep.
Callahan preparing to come onto the ground with only less than 3 minutes left in the first half. After Wayne Carey kicked 4 goals last night against the Swans, he went to 58 goals for the year. Jeffrey Farmer has kicked 3. We're not quite up to half-time in this match. He has 57. And they are respectively 3rd and 4th on the goal-kicking list behind Matthew Lloyd and Lance Whitnell.
It's not Tony Modrich's day, Dougie, is it?
No, it's not at all. He should have probably took the mark there. It was a good play by Sean McManus to kick the ball nice and long way out in front. He may have hurt himself there, Tony Modric, on that occasion.
Not moving all that freely by the look of him.
It's like young Coops coming off the ground here at this stage.
Yes, coming off the ground to be replaced by Callahan. 2.5 minutes left in the term. Kick forward by Black, a high ball. Bandy got nowhere near it. Melbourne, gee, the understanding there was tremendous, wasn't it? And then the kick forward, the player who kicked the ball was smashed to the ground, Brown. So the kick will go down to half forward and taken by Green. Green's kicking towards the full forward area. And the mark is taken by Walker. Walker away to the far side. Fuster. Handballs high and slowly out to Callahan. Already with the possession after having been on the ground just a few seconds. McManus falling over. Now the player standing his ground, Robertson, kicks the ball in towards full forward. At the back was Fletcher, not able to control the football. In there is Neats, kicks it in towards full forward proper, kick it, handball in trouble, Black, good tackle by Godfrey. Umpire decides on a bounce.
Sorry, Rob, I overtalk you there. I couldn't help myself to jump into the hand from Dale Kickett. He gave him absolutely no hope, his teammate, in young Heath Black on that occasion. Shocking handball.
Gone for all money, wasn't he? But the umpire giving him the benefit of the doubt, and play goes on. The Ox tries to break away from the tackle there from Clem Michael. Again, we will have a bounce. 75 plays, 28. Margin 47 points in favour of Melbourne. Punched away by Fuster. At the fall of the ball, Godfrey. But Uze beats him to it, and Uze, lovely left foot kick just offline. Through for his second behind. 1 goal, 2 to Adam Uze. The leading goal kickers are David Neats and Jeff Farmer with 3 apiece, and they're all singles from Fremantle.
Bravo and Huddard's a staggering stat here. The centre clearance is Melbourne 8, Woden's had 4, Rigoni 3. The Dockers are cleared out of the centre 9 times, 3 times to Adrian Fletcher.
Last 40 seconds of the half. Fuster finds McManus. Dockers 4-4, Demons 12-4. Maybe they can get one more before half-time. Daniel Bandy gets to his right foot. Waterhouse in pretty good shape. Did he push? Did he push? Did he push? No, he didn't. So Clive to line up.
Bit early, wasn't it?
He's a little bit early, Clive, with a bit of a shove. But
if you stand your ground, I think that he actually nudged him out of the way.
Was the ball within 5?
I'll let it go. I don't let that go.
Would you?
Yeah.
If the ball was within 5, it was fair enough. I think he might have missed.
He kicked it, hasn't he?
He's missed. 4-5, 29 is the return for the Fremantle Dockers. A frustrating afternoon for Damien Drum and the Dockers. 12-4, 76. Jeff White having a rest on the bench for the Demons. Pretty satisfying quarter for them, Dougie.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Hutto. And the thing about they've shared the ball around. As I mentioned earlier, their midfield's been pretty good. Uze on the wing's been outstanding. Woden's been well held by Norwich. But it's up forward. Jeff Farmer with 3 goals. David Neats back in the side with his 3 goals. And young Brad Green's chipped him with 2 goals as well. So their forward line certainly has been very good. And the back line's been very solid.
What do you think for the second half?
Well, the Dockers, I thought, had a crack for about 15 minutes in that second quarter. They just seemed to drop away a little bit. I still like to see them go directly and long inside 50, not go short and muck around the football.
Well, we'll see what happens after the break. Melbourne at 12-4-76, Fremantle 4-5-29. It's half-time at Colonial Stadium.
I don't think he's played a lot of footy down there, Robbo, full back.
No, but Nicholson was given a lot of credit in an article that I read during the week that he does do a solid job in defence for the Demons.
Third quarter underway. Powell gets the first kick and it's got penetration. Farmer, he got in front. Takes the mark. James Walker unable to get a fist onto the ball or anything really.
Too far out, I think, Hutto.
I wonder if he'll try and run around him.
I don't think he will step him, no.
No.
I think he'll get to kick it.
Looking for a pass. No, he's going to have a crack. He might go the torp here, is he? No, he's unwinding with a... Wasn't a great kick. Crossed the face a bit, made it pretty tough for his teammates. Out of bounds.
I'm not quite sure, boys, that young James Walker is a back pocket. I've seen him play up in the midfield on a wing or on the ball, but no doubt Damien Jones is trying to teach him all the facts of the game about playing the back line and be accountable for an opponent.
Well, quick snap across the ground from Robertson. Bootsma late on the scene. Been a prolific ball winner this afternoon. The ball out of bounds. I think you're right with Walker. He hasn't really laid fist on the ball too many times as far as spoils and so forth is concerned. Farmer's been dangerous. He's kicked 3. Hasn't had that many possessions, but has always looked like he might burst through with a couple of goals. Hazelby sees it go over the line and out of bounds after Dale kick it. Got the clearing kick. Melbourne 12-4, Fremantle 4-5.
13 possessions for Hazelby.
Been good, hasn't he?
Yep.
Good hands.
So he's continuing on with his excellent first season form. Schwartz doing the rucking and the roving. Wanted a free. Hazelby didn't go anywhere with that kick. All over the top of it, nothing much doing, and another bounce.
Hello, and Robbo, you think he'll win the, is it the Norwich or the Norwich?
Norwich.
What about Ramanauskas from the Essendon Football Club?
Oh, look, there's always a lot of young talent coming through, and you've mentioned one. I'm sure viewers and even the people here at the game are going to nominate 2 or 3 others that have had pretty good years. But Paul Hazelby has been tremendous in a side that's only won 7 matches. Ramanauskas has played in a terrific side that's won every game. Farmer plays on and kicks a goal. He's got 4.
Yeah,
he's smart, isn't he, Jeffrey Farmer?
He's very good, and I think
he borders on Learism. Does he border on Learism?
No, I think it's just confidence, and I think maybe that little bit of arrogance. And when you're that good, sometimes, Robbo, you may feel that way, look that way.
Yep. Is that what you found? Is it, Dougie?
I think he borders on that a little bit of time.
But look, watch that.
It's just.
Is that smart or?
I thought he could have went back and had a shot, but he got away with it. That's how good he is.
He's a character, isn't he? A real character. Well, Jeffrey Farmer has kicked 4 straight. Melbourne 13-4 lead Fremantle 4-5 in the very early part of the third quarter. Gee, they look sick, the scoreline for Fremantle. Even McManus is getting caught, and Sean McManus has been one of their better players. He is the co-captain with Adrian Fletcher of the Fremantle side, and he just looks like a young man now who's lost all confidence. Kick forward, not marked by Schwartz, kicked away by Dodd, close to the boundary line, gathered by Brown, play allowed to go on. Now Green, ordinary kick onto the chest of the opponent in Dodd. Norrish across the half-back line, Callaghan straightens and then delivers out wide in the Michael direction. He gets rid of White, gathers quite nicely, handballs out wide. McManus run down by Farmer. Pretty good tackle too, I thought, from behind. And he's being rewarded.
I just thought that Clem Michael should have let Sean McManus get the ball the first time and not let him pick the footy up himself. The handball set him up.
White gets the kick out wide. Robertson. Maybe there's a change that's been made down there now. I think Walker has gone on to Robertson.
Well, I reckon they don't have to make a move because one-on-one James Walker's been beaten too easily by Jeff Farmer. I reckon maybe even Sean McManus could go back to a back pocket, or maybe even a Dale Kickett.
Swartz, again, trying to do it all on his own and did it well. Robertson floating it. Farmer. Oh, still Farmer. Still he goes, and then into the pocket. Stephen Powell is just trying to push off and play on. Uze floating down to the squares, now manned up by Heath Black.
Neil Danaher, don't take Jeffrey Farmer off the ground because he's one of the reasons that he's going to keep this game alive. He is just an excitement machine.
Well, Melbourne must really be considered as a genuine threat in the finals.
My word, I saw them play against Essendon and they got within 2 goals of the Bombers.
And one of the reasons is they've got a lot of players that can kick goals. Stephen Powell is one of those players.
And he had a good year, Stephen Powell, since crossing from the Western Bulldogs. His ability to run hard or...
Kicked 18 goals before today.
18, Hutto, has he? No, his ability to run all day. Here we are, see Farmer spin around Sean McManus. Threw the ball out, showed the dummy, and just brilliant foot skills here to find Stephen Powell. And as I said, he's been one of those brilliant midfielders with Woden, Lee, Chally and Regani. He's had great years.
Well, terrific kick by Stephen Powell to kick another goal for Melbourne, their 14th. Mark has been taken by Walsh. Goes short. Woden, can he spin out of trouble? Good tackle by Dodd. Ball spills for McManus. McManus now out wide, looking for a bandy. He's been interfered with by Ingerson. Very, very tiggy Touchwood. Certainly was interference by the Melbourne player. No argument coming from Anthony Ingerson. Free kick to Daniel Bandy. Bandy kicks in towards the forward pocket. Waterhouse, good mark. Very good mark to Waterhouse out in front of his face, in front of Collins. And Waterhouse will shoot for his 2nd goal. Fremantle's 5th. They trail lamentably on that scoreboard, 14-4 to 4-5.
Sorry, Rob, it looks like James Clement now has been moved back onto Jeff Farmer, so the move has been made by Damien Drum. Looks like, I think as Hutto said, young Walker's picking up Robertson.
So we're watching Waterhouse shoot for goal. Good kick. Very good kick by Waterhouse. He's kicked his 2nd. Freo have got their 5th. 2 goals, 2 to Clive Waterhouse. Before today, he kicked in excess of 40 goals. Doug, he kicked 42 goals, 26. So now up to 44. He could kick 50 goals for the season.
I reckon this fellow cops a bit unfair criticism sometimes because sometimes he's very consistent. I think he started football fairly late and, you know, he's kicked 2 goals and he's a very dangerous player. As you just said, he's kicked up a fair swag of goals. So that's a good return. A good kick by Daniel Bandy too to set it up.
14-4, plays 5-5. White very aggressive as he attacked the ball, thumped it down, couldn't quite get it to a teammate in the end and went after it again, but close to the line. McManus and Nathan Brown colliding. Swartz, Cook, McManus just blindly, well not blindly but very quickly getting it moving. Free kick to Sean McManus. The infringer was David Swartz. Goes backwards to bring Norwich into the play. Waterhouse is lurking again. He's got clear, takes the mark. Thought about laying the handball off, but decided against it. Modra might double back. Waterhouse will kick to a vacant square. Pavlich has pushed forward, and he's almost taken the mark. And I wouldn't mind seeing Pavlich playing forward. He may have gone to the forward line now by the look of that. Was beaten by David Neitz up at the other end of the ground. And I think in the end he'll probably be a centre-half forward for Fremantle in years to come. Callaghan not able to pick it up. Pavlich goes again. Got the handball out to Michael. He was looking there like he wasn't ready. Modra, little untidy. Pavlich off the ground. Can't score. 5-6 to 14-4.
Just trying to work out where David Neitz is at the moment here, Hutto. No, he's playing still at full forward, and Pavlich certainly is his opponent, so no doubt Pavlich has ran down the ground. So it's good play by the young player to drag his player down the ground. So good football by Pavlich.
Uze kicking in, looking to the outer side, couldn't get White. Now Woden pumps it up. The handball, McDonald had to wait for it, got a high tackle. Not seen by the umpire. Norwich almost handball to the umpire. Walsh goes in and picks it up, gives it out to Woden. 70 from goal. Look at Farmer again. Well, didn't have much to see that time as the ball went over the line and out of bounds.
I like the move of Clement too, just quietly on to Jeff Farmer. One-on-one, Clement's very, very good in that area. And at ground level, for a reasonably tall player as James Clement, he's pretty good at ground level as well.
So Farmer appealing to the umpire there, John Harvey, in that area of the ground for a jumper pulling infringement. Johnny Harvey maybe just explaining to Jeffrey that he's got the whistle. Well, oh, lovely little tap. Powell caught, had prior opportunity actually. Farmer deep in the pocket and kicks it over on the full.
What a tackle that was on Powell. It was so fierce, wasn't it?
And you wonder when the tackle is efficient like that and fair, and the player has had prior opportunity, it went unrewarded. This is Dodd with the football in the left back pocket for Freo. 5-6 to 14-4. Dodd goes across the goal at which he is defending. Out wide, Fuster. Fuster, a high kick. An awful kick. He's getting paid in excess of $200,000 a year to kick the ball like that. Brown receiving, kicks it in towards half forward, goes through all players in that area of the ground. James Walker gathers, kicks out in front of McManus, and there's an indication that he is really struggling, McManus. And a chance for Powell to get his second goal for the term, off to Uze. Bit of pressure applied there, so good work by the Fremantle players in that area of the ground to make sure they kept making it difficult for Melbourne. Neitz goes in towards the half-forward area, gathered by Leoncelli. Leoncelli's kick to the goal square. Up high, Powell, punched away to the fall of the ball as McManus. Tried to get it to Black. In turn, Dale kick it. He got the hand pass away. Dodd goes wider. Walker, a long kick out to Waterhouse. Couldn't take the mark. Free kick has been found against Fremantle. And will be taken by the player lying prostrate
Stephen
on
Powell,
the ground,
looks like.
and he's in a bit of strife. He is in a bit of strife. He's been knocked out.
Is it Stephen Powell, Robert?
It could be by the look of... actually, Powell doesn't wear a glove.
It's not Powell. Sorry, it's not Powell.
Brown, I think it is.
Nathan Brown, is it?
It might have been Waterhouse's leg that came in from behind and hit him as he fell.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Look at those two going flying. Gee.
Now, away from that, the Fremantle player in Waterhouse also limping away from that incident, but the most concerned person now is for this young fella. He has not regained consciousness. Well, it was purely accidental, and
been playing good footy too, Nathan
he
Brown
has,
off half-back flank. He's been in very good form, one of the younger players.
14 possessions so far in the game.
Yeah. The two sides meet together.
Have another look here, Doug.
Here we are. Yep.
Oh,
he did too.
That
Knee in the back of the head. You caught it well, Robbo. You did pick that one up. I thought he just cleared him, the pack there, Clive Waterhouse, but he had to make contact.
The boy going for the ball in front, young Brown, would not have been aware. I mean, he's got to try and keep his eye on the ball.
Yep. And
he would not be aware of the ferocity of the players, both Waterhouse and I think the other player may have been Ward in that
Daniel Ward just moved over, yep.
And they were coming in with their attack on the ball, with their eyes on the ball as well. And I guess it's Waterhouse's leg that made contact. It's his left leg that made contact with young Brown, and he is favouring that. But the medical staff do a terrific job with the young blokes on the ground now, making sure that every precaution is taken.
You just hate seeing it, don't you?
Yes.
Hello, Robbo. You just hate seeing
a
player injured like this because it just makes you a bit sick in the guts, I reckon. Just makes you crook. Good Cook.
Well, there's a lot of people knocked unconscious, but you just hope that it doesn't go anywhere near further than that, because when you see the neck go thrust back and struck from behind and pushed forward, and then he lands on the ground when he's been knocked out, then you hope that nothing serious has happened to the boy's neck.
That's been more of a precaution, Robbo, you'd say?
I think the medical staff are instructed to do that as soon as they go out.
Here it is again.
See, watch that bang forward and bang back.
That's a big blow, isn't it? Like we've played footy, Robbo. You played footy, and that's the last thing you want to see, type thing.
See Waterhouse off to the right there, just took a grip of his left leg, which was the contact part of his body on Nathan Brown's, the back of his head. He's got that all iced up now, Clive Waterhouse. So Nathan Brown being taken on the stretcher to the Melbourne rooms. We'll keep you updated with the condition of Nathan Brown. Some very concerned staff on the boundary line waiting as well. The play will restart shortly as we watch Brown being taken to the rooms. The Demons 14-4, lead Fremantle 5-6. The Demons have kicked a couple of goals in this third quarter, and Fremantle have added one. Play goes on. The ball lands in the forward 50 for Melbourne. To swoop on it, Woden got his right foot to it and has kicked a behind. First score in the game to Shane Woden. He's had his concerns trying to break the shackles of Jason Norrish, I think it was, Doug, that you mentioned playing on Shane Woden.
That's correct, Robbo. Woden's had 11 touches, and young Norris has had 9 touches, so he's done a good job on Shane Woden.
Oh, Swartz thumping it back in. Had to kick it high, so he had the pressure on him. It swinging out to the wing. Fluky ball. Bruce just on the ground. Got them moving. Walsh in some space. Went laterally to Johnson as they tried to switch play. Had some short options. Woden demanding the ball on the wing, but he decided to go down the middle. And they still might get clear. Uze freeing up Green. On the end of it is young Godfrey trying to get onto his boot. Couldn't, but Cameron Bruce, who started it all, swings it into goal and misses.
Just looked like there, Hutto, that young Travis Johnson didn't have the vision to find Shane Woden. He was certainly on his own by about 25 metres.
I wasn't sure, I wasn't sure if it was the vision or he just decided that he
wasn't going to go there.
Wasn't going to go out that wide. He wanted to go straight down the middle.
Yep.
So, not sure. Look at Simmons, has to come from behind here and thump it again. Dodd just putting it out in front of himself. Good persistence from Green. That was close to being deliberately out of bounds. Not quite. And the ball to be thrown in. It's hard to concentrate on the footy after that incident, isn't it?
It makes you crook in the stomach. It certainly does.
So the boundary throw in, we're watching Clive Waterhouse. He was involved in that clash with young Nathan Brown, which led to Brown being taken to the rooms on a stretcher. And we're endeavouring to make contact with the medical staff for Melbourne and just check on the condition of Nathan Brown. But Waterhouse presently on the bench with a leg injury. He's loosening up, but he's got his left knee just above the left knee, heavily bandaged with plenty of ice.
Yep, certainly. There's Robertson coming off the ground here at the moment. Clem Michael now has gone to full forward, and with Waterhouse off the ground, Modrich's gone to centre half forward.
Johnston's kick into the full forward area, kicked away out wide and gathered by Walker. Handball to McManus. He'll straighten up onto his right and then kick it high in towards the full forward area. No mark taken. Ingerson does a fairly consistent job week in, week out on a tall forward. Norrish, Bootsma, back to Norrish. Norrish into the middle, and the marker's taken by Kickett. Kickett and McManus, two very important players over the last 2 or 3 years for Fremantle. Both look as though they're playing with very little confidence.
No doubt about that, Robbo. They started on the bench, both players, and as we've said a couple of times now, McManus came on fairly late in that second quarters, and I think Kickett did the same thing as well. So both obviously must be out a bit of touch at the moment.
Daniel Bandy has the ball about 40 metres from goal, directly in front. He's kicked one of Fremantle's 5 goals so far, and he has now kicked 1-1 of that Fremantle scoreline, which reads 5-7 to 14-6. So not quite a 9-goal margin in favour of Melbourne, 53 points to be exact. And we've got 9 minutes left in the third term. Kick in by Uze is very good. Spotted Rigoni and found him. Rigoni forced to kick with the left because he desperately wanted to play on. And then the kick is well marked. For a big fellow, he's about 6'8" in the old. Didn't he get down well, Daniel Bandy, to take that mark? To Bootsma, down the line. Coops may go for goal. He unloads and misses everything.
Tony Modra would not be very happy with that. He was out of the lead.
You're right, Hutto. You called it beautifully, Hutto. He was on the lead. The kick should have been to Tony Modra. It just looks like now that Clem Michael's having a bit of a spell, who was at full forward, and Daniel Shell has gone to full forward.
Troy Cook's leap was impressive. Unfortunately, didn't take the ball with him. Bruce Simmons now as the Demons attack over the head of Green. Clement, oh dear. The troops were arriving and he just couldn't get a handle on the ball. Farmer almost made the great steal. Oh, he goes again. He's got it. He's a thief.
He's the best.
He's a thief.
It's a crook.
You know, when you watch I know it's a different code altogether, but when we watch the boys running in the other codes and all they're doing is just trying to rush it forward, that was a terrific example of just getting it into a position, wasn't it? Watch this. Watch what happens. Yep. Force it forward. Eventually dispossess.
He pinched that.
Yeah, he's just a genius.
You caught it beautifully. He just robbed that. He just grabbed it out of the hands. I think it might have been Don. And he's kicked 5 goals now. He's been brilliant.
His attack on the man and the ball, enormous, Jeffrey Farmer, and he's kicked 5 of Melbourne's 15 goals. They'll go forward once again, but the hand pass from Stephen Powell, intercepted by Norrish. The kick to left half forward, well done by Coops, but not able to keep the ball moving in his direction. So Melbourne, through Collins and Walsh, combine and get the ball down towards the wing, and in front of Cameron Bruce goes over for a boundary throw-in.
We have some news on Nathan Brown, and so far it's good. He has woken up in the rooms, and the neck brace was considered a precaution, so hopefully he'll be okay.
Good news, Hutto.
Well, that is
great news
there, my word. So just forward of the wing, boundary throw-in. Fuster doing the ruck work, but by gee, the Ox, he's a strong man. He got rid of him. Johnson, the tackle by Fuster a little high. So Johnston will take the free kick. He doesn't mess around. He gets it off to Rigoni. In support, Rigoni kicks to the front of the square. Another very disciplined kick for Melbourne. Goes all the way to an area about 20 metres out directly in front. And Farmer has kicked half a dozen. Jeffrey Farmer started the day on 54 goals for the year. He now has 60, and he is third in line on the league goal kicking behind Matthew Lloyd and Lance Whitnell.
I just wonder sometimes he realises how good he is, this bloke. I mean, he can be just anything. I mean, I really mean that. He's just got everything going for him. He's a good mark overhead for his size. At ground level, he's brilliant. And he just kicks those goals that we all dream about. He's a ripper. He's just a refreshing person on the AFL scene.
Troy Cook gets Fremantle going out of the middle. Uze. Oh,
everything going right.
Yeah, it's all going right for them at the moment, isn't it? Thumping kick from Rigoni up to half forward. Oh, well picked up by Bruce. Gives it to Godfrey. Can he join in? No, out on the full.
Just thought the young fella there, young Simon Godfrey, could have handballed to Stephen Powell. The handball was on, but the young fella decided to kick. Maybe inexperience may have cost him there.
Oh, here's a chance for McManus.
Oh.
Got a long way clear. Bootsma's kick gets him, just gets the handball to Cook. just too far at the score. Good
Great
kick,
vision.
well disguised kick. And Clive's on one leg, but he takes the mark.
Yeah, good play there by McManus, first of all, to get rid of his opponent, who was really a good tackle there. Great vision by Troy Cook. He indicated he was going to go long down the line, and not many players in mid-flight can switch a decision. He did it then. It was a good kick to find Waterhouse.
Troy Cook's had 14 possessions this afternoon, laid 6 tackles. Clive, as you can see, has kicked a couple of goals, taken 6 marks. So he's had a crack, kicked 2 goals, 2, and now he's got 3 goals, 2. Well kicked.
He is a good kick, isn't he? I mean, he does usually get it spinning the right way, Doug.
Yep.
And from my recollections, he does convert pretty well.
There's the tackle here from Regani. Nearly got Sean McManus. The handball wasn't that flash, but there's that mid-kick, the mid change in flight. Not many players can do it, Robbo. They can change their mind, and he just did it beautifully there, Troy Cook. He's been a pretty good player. I think he's had 14 touches and 6 good tackles.
Clive Waterhouse has kicked 45 goals, 28 for the year.
Been good, mainly as a half-forward flanker.
Well, very important that they probably get another person down there in support of Waterhouse and Modra. McManus goes out wide. Bootsma couldn't take the mark. Taken away by Collins. Got the handball to Uze. Uze, little left foot kick, not too bad actually. Gathered by Bruce, back to Collins. Too high there for Woden, but gathered by Johnston. If he realises his potential, Melbourne will be a better side because he can play Travis Johnston. Out wide, Leon Chally. Another goal coming up. Stephen Powell, he's second for the quarter, and he goes bang, and he kicks a goal. Very much a drill there for Melbourne. And again, they got a goal from right in front through Powell.
It is amazing, Robbo and Hutto, here we see the Demons turn the ball over twice with shotgun handballs. I mean, I think one was the Travis Johnson one, and I think one went to the centre of the ground. I'm not sure who it was, but they still had the ability to find a teammate on their own in Stephen Powell. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, they are a fairly good side, this Melbourne side.
They're well drilled.
Yep.
Powell with 18 possessions and a couple of goals.
Been good, hasn't he?
17-6 to 6-7. Woden, that was training stuff as well, practicing the centre bounces.
No understanding there.
Oh, Farmer got crunched that time. Johnson back to Swartz. Standing start. Will he go bang? No, he spots up Shane Woden.
Actually, I spoke to Danny Corcoran in the rooms when I went down to try and organise the interview with Neil Danaher. And he made a point. They are knocking on the door, Melbourne. They're in the 4. They probably will stay in the 4. And they lost some terrific players over the last 12 or 18 months. Yep. Steins, Viney, Lyon, G. Lovett, B. Lovett. And he named a couple of others too. Yep. And with a group of young blokes, intermingled with 2 or 3 of the David Schwartz and the David Neitz, etc., and Jeff White, they are in the 4 and they look as though they're going to be there to stay.
Well, they want to do better at kicking at goal than that. Little effort from Shane Woden. His game today, perhaps just fractionally down on his best during the year. He's had 14 possessions, kicked 2 behinds. Norwich has had the job on him today. Fremantle, 6 goals, 7, 43. Melbourne, 17-7. Oh, no. Farmer again! He handballs. And goal to Green.
That's a very good sign, Doug, don't you think? You know, that he's prepared to just be aware that there are other people that are in a better position to kick the goal than he.
Yep. He could have a left foot snap there, Jeff Farmer, to make it 7 goals. Brad Green, I think, is coming from the ground to give Russell Robertson a run. Green's now has kicked 3 goals and been a very good player in their form. But you're right, Robert.
You wouldn't lay odds that he won't kick 7 anyway, would you, with another quarter plus 4 minutes?
He might get 10, this bloke. Double figures. That was good, unselfish football by Jeff Farmer. Yep. Team football.
Disappointing, wasn't it?
I think we'll all remember that magnificent goal he kicked in the first term.
Oh, look at White. What a great climb over the top. It's just, it's hard to hit a man when you do that, but it looks sensational, doesn't it?
My word, yeah. And it moves the ball forward, puts the defence under pressure. McManus gathers, gets back onto his right, kicks in the direction of Modra. Good mark taken back there by Nicholson. Walsh, Ingerson, Collins, prepared to handball off. Uze, Woden, can he get free? Gives it back to Uze. Uze just bangs away. That was a little arrogant there by Adam Uze. Cook gathers and kicks in towards half forward. Waterhouse, but he's got 4 to contend with. One of those was Godfrey. Out wide, Johnston. Well tackled by Bootsma. Locked up. Umpire will bounce. Big scoreline now, isn't it, for Melbourne? They've kicked 19 goals to 6. 18 goals to 6, and they lead by exactly 12. 115 to 43. 72 points is the margin.
The inside 54 the match. Melbourne 48 times to the Dockers 28. So 20 times more they have gone inside 50 to Demons for their, is it 18 goals?
And we've watched with interest the discipline where they've tried to get it in front of goals too,
That's right,
haven't we?
Yep.
So it's back in the middle, and Dockers able to go forward this time. Walker's kick though. Ward takes it. And he's got a man. Gee, it was a good kick too. Went 50 metres to get Rigoni on the wing. Couple of players leading out. He switches a little dangerously. Swartz had the run up at the end just to get the spoil in. Hazelby doing the roving. Clement goes to half forward. Pavlich now is playing up forward. Takes the mark. But Bootsma inboard, ignores him. Bandy pushing forward as well. Shell back in the square, leads out. Waterhouse is back there as well, being manned up.
Hayes will be quiet in this term with just 3 possessions.
Matthew Pavlich. Oh, it's a big kick.
Big kick.
It's a big booming kick from Matthew Pavlich for a goal. So he can kick a goal. He's kicked 13 for the year. And as I said earlier, I suspect he may well end up as a key forward for the Fremantle Dockers in the long run.
Yeah, I think you're right, Hutto. No doubt about that. He played most of the game down at full-back on David Neitz. It looks like Clem Michael's playing at full-back now. He's been moved to centre-half forward, and he just indicated this young fella can kick a football. And you've got a player like him. You've got Hazelby in the side as well. Some good young talent.
Well, a terrific kick and goal to Matthew Pavlich. That is Fremantle's 7th goal. Margin back to 66 points. I agree with you, Hutto. When you see Jeff White jump high, get hands on the ball, force it forward, he is just an exciting player. Uze's kick is terrific.
To see the handball in from Guy Rigoni that got that going, that was absolutely superb.
They've got great understanding, haven't they? It's Woden, Leon Celli, Uze, Rigoni. Anyone I've missed there of those, and Stephen Powell.
There's Nathan Brown coming around. That's fantastic.
Good to see, Robbo and Hutto, and a terrific.
And the goal has been kicked by the Ox, David Schwartz. A couple of goals to David Schwartz. 8 goal kickers now for the Demons. They've got their 19th on the scoreboard. That was just a little clip there of Nathan Brown.
Here's Rigoni. Look at this handball. Bang.
Quick hands, wasn't it? Looks like Clem Michael, sorry, he's been moved on to Schwartz at this stage. And as I said before, sorry, take that back again.
He's back in the ruck now.
Yeah, Bandy's playing at full back on Schwartz.
Well, they must have just made the switch then, Doug.
Yeah, Fuster's playing on Neitz.
White was just giving them an armchair ride out of the middle. Rigoni, here's Jeffrey, get out of his way. Gets the handball to Godfrey. He got crunched. Farmer goes again. And he goes again. That was really a throw.
There was 3 throws in there.
Yeah,
it was.
Fremantle a little bit unlucky as the ball out of bounds.
Here we are, 19 goals for Melbourne. 17 of the 19 have come directly straight in front of goal.
Yeah.
17 of the 19.
Well, they work the ball into wherever they are on the ground. By the time they get over the centre, they try and work it through that centre half forward area.
Yep.
And it makes it, your goal kick is going to be more accurate, isn't it?
Yep.
Only makes perfect sense. Callahan off the ground, wobbly one. Fletcher from the Pavlich handball. It was a strange old handball. Troy Cook somewhat laconically fires away successfully at goal and kicks Fremantle's
Eighth goal.
Eighth goal. I looked up
Very
at the
hard to see
scoreboard
that.
and could not see
very
a
hard
thing.
with the. Is that the Rialto building? No, it's not. Is that the Rialto building up there for the sun glaring?
Yes,
I think it is.
Yep.
Very hard to see, but Cook's been good and he had a very good game.
That's your penthouse apartment up there, isn't it, Dougie?
I'm on the 25th floor, I think it is.
That is something that we can look at,
That is
because
hard,
when
right?
the roof is open and it's a sunny day,
Yep.
that is very hard to see, that scoreboard over there.
It's been good Cook Henny today.
Oh,
Been
yes,
terrific.
yes.
Troy Cook. And McManus this quarter's been pretty good. Sean McManus had 8 touches this quarter.
Cook's been good in each quarter, Doug. 5
Yep.
in the first, 6 in the second, 6 in the third so far.
Yep.
McManus working industriously at the bottom of the pack. So is Woden, and Woden able to get his kick away. Bootsma. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, good hands.
Green. Bruce it was to Uze, and Uze has kicked a goal. That hasn't been touched. That's a goal kicked by Adam Uze. Uze gets his second goal, and the Demons go marching on. 20 goals 7 to 8 goals 7.
Just those younger players for the Melbourne side, you know. Young Brown's been very good. Green, and we saw Cameron Bruce there get quick hands across to Uze. And I think Robbo, he said something about the Brownlow medal. He certainly polled very well, as will Shane Woden come Brownlow medal time. Good kick by Uze.
Damien Drum's come down into the ground to watch the last 9 seconds from ground level. I wonder how he must feel at the moment. 20 goals 7 to 8-7 at the moment. It's Melbourne's highest score against Fremantle, and we're only in the third quarter. The previous was 18-11 back in 97. Poor old Tony Modra takes his first mark on a lead for the whole day. And unfortunately the siren has sounded. There's Damien Drum. 3/4 time, I think he probably wishes it was full time. Melbourne 20 goals 7, 127. Leading Fremantle 8-7-55. Nathan Brown, for those that have just joined us, a horrific clash earlier in the quarter, but he looks all right. He's back in the land of the living. And there's Jeff Farmer, who's been the hero of the day again with 6 goals. A break, and back with the last quarter from Colonial Stadium. Well, they might have solar hot water. It'll be hot showers
This is
tonight.
a young fella being hurt during that quarter.
Young
Nathan
Brown,
Brown,
yeah.
bang from Clive Waterhouse.
Look at the way those two are flying through the air. It's phenomenal. It was a big hit, wasn't it? It was really sickening at the time, but the good news is that he is okay. So, well...
That's young Brown on screen there, and as Hutto has referred to, looks okay.
We're underway in the last quarter. It's actually quite difficult to see here. The sun is right in our eyes. But I guess that won't worry. Melbourne, 127. Fremantle, 55. Justin Schmidt. And to bounce the ball. Simmons having a run in the ruck. He continues on where White left off. Liam Shelley bombs it. And Cameron Bruce, who had an immediate impact when he came on in that third quarter, has taken the mark.
Looks like Stephen Coops may have been moved to a half-back flank. I don't think he's played a real lot of football in the back line for the Dockers, and he may be the opponent to Cameron Bruce, who just read the ball a lot better than the rest of the players on the ground.
Bruce from 45. It's a wobbly old kick, but it does the job. So Melbourne certainly not letting off their performance. And what a match that shapes next week now when Melbourne take on Geelong, basically playing for 4th place. There are a few other challenges around, so it's an important one for Melbourne to win this weekend. And they've certainly answered any worries about taking the opposition lightly in the best possible way. 21 goals 7 to 8-7, and we're only a couple of minutes into the last quarter.
Big margin. 13 goals in favour of the Demons. They may get the ball clear again. Godfrey receiving from McDonald. Kicks the ball to half forward. Keeping it alive there in that area was Robertson. In on top of it, Neitz with Johnston for Melbourne. And Fuster for Fremantle. The umpire will bounce about 55 metres from the Melbourne goal. embarrassing scoreline. I'm sure Fremantle would have come over here expecting to put on a better display than they have. Bootsma left the ball behind. Leon Celli was quite fierce in his endeavours to get it to his teammate. In trouble behind play is Uze, just limping ever so slightly. Bootsma to swoop on it, run down, and pressure applied there by Uze. It was Rigoni that was in strife behind play. Another player taken high as he was trying to stream clear of defence was Daniel Ward, and Ward will take the free kick for Melbourne. Goes in the direction of Bruce, couldn't take the mark. Johnston at the fall of the ball gathers and then kicks. Oh, beautifully, wasn't it? And McDonald goes directly towards goal. Third in line, couldn't take the mark. Now Farmer, Bandy kicks it back towards the right half back area. Awkward bouncing ball gathered by Hazelby. A high kick, a floater, punched away there from Jones by Woden. Gathered by Kickett in towards full forward, and the marker's taken down here in this left forward pocket for Fremantle by Shell.
Good kick there, Robbo, by Dale Kick on that occasion. I mean, he looked like he was going to go directly down the corridor, but he decided to kick to the outside, and good football by Dale Kickett to find Shell.
Shell kicking for goal from about 40 metres out. Gets onto it quite nicely, but just floating away with the breeze off to the left and through for a behind.
Looks like Jones coming from the ground, looked like it may be a leg injury. He'll be replaced by Adrian Fletcher. What would have been the biggest score by Melbourne beating the Dockers? Anyone have any idea of that one?
I think back in 95 they won by 52 points from memory, Dougie.
Beautifully done, Hutto.
That was the Dockers' first year in the competition, though, from memory. Rigoni takes the mark. Cross half back. Done comedy for a long time, Dougie, or you just started?
We're a team, Hutto.
Uze up onto the wing. Wasn't a good bit of work there at all. Pavlich won't quite get to the contest. Ingerson takes the mark. Goes short. Oh, dangerous kick. Poor kick in the end. And Hazelby's... No, it's Black, is it? Slipping in to take the mark. Heath Black. From outside 50. Was renowned in his early days as a good kick, but he's been a little off target today, both shooting at goal there and around the ground. So behind on the board, Fremantle 8-9, Melbourne 21-7.
I'll tell you what, we all rave about the Carlton, the Essendon midfield. I'll tell you what, boys, this Melbourne midfield is as good as any. They're hard running, they're fit, they work well together. Leon Celli, by Woden, Rigoni, the list goes on. This midfield is as good as any.
Kick in, taken by Johnston, got it back from Leon Celli, and then kick with the left, mark taken by Pavlich. Looked as if he was endeavouring to play on, but then forced to go back and take his kick. Found Hazelby. Oh, Hazelby. That's disappointing. Now that really does tell the story of the day for the Dockers. He's a better player than that. In his endeavours to try and get the ball on quickly, he missed his target and kicked it out of bounds on the full. Contest at just forward of the wing for Melbourne. Cook gets the ball out to Hazelby. He's well tackled by Godfrey. Spillage was gathered by Green. Off to Johnston. Doesn't he kick the ball well? Look, I tell you, he's still got tremendous football in front of himself, Travis Johnston. Eventually, Bruce over the top. Goal kick by Schwartz. 3 goals to Schwartz.
That kick made it into the third tier, the top tier. I'm not sure that I've seen that here before.
Is percentage important for Melbourne in their endeavours to stay in front of Geelong? They look as though they're about 17.
Not really.
What about overcoming the Kangaroos? Can they get higher?
Well, the Kangaroos played Collingwood and St Kilda in their last 2 matches, so you wouldn't think they would lose either of those, but you never know. If they do, that Melbourne's percentage is way out in front of all the rest of the teams below them now.
Well, this does their percentage no harm whatsoever. Melbourne, 14 goals. Not quite 14 goals. 22-7 to 8-9. Still 15 minutes left.
Yes, what a great spread of goals it's been. Farmer 6 goals, Green 3, Schwartz 3, Neitz 3. Free kick out of the middle going to Stephen Michael.
if I said to you at the start of the game, boys, that Melbourne win by 14 goals plus, you'd think I was joking. I mean, the gap of these two sides ain't that much of a gap, but I tell you what, the Melbourne side have been terrific, and I reckon Damien Drum would be dirty the way that the Dockers have played here today.
It's been that sort of year for Fremantle, though, hasn't it? I mean,
yeah, hot and cold.
Had some good matches, and then you think they've sort of turned the corner a little bit, and then they've put in a couple of shockers, and they've been on the end of a few hidings from, well, the quality teams, really. Essendon, and that's no shame in that, but Carlton stitched them up. I think the Bulldogs stitched them up over at home. Kangaroos had a pretty solid win over them, so they've been beaten pretty soundly by the top team, so there's still a way to go, and I know they're very much aware of that. Ball out of bounds.
I just reckon too, Damien Drum's doing the right thing. He's playing the young kids, and I just reckon in 2 or 3 years' time, with these guys playing more football together, particularly all the younger players, they're going to be pretty handy side, the Fremantle Dockers.
Yeah, they've certainly got a future if they can just get a couple of more players in, key position players.
There's a goal.
Maybe 1 or 2 more on ball as they'll be away. But in the meantime, they've got to watch as McDonald came streaming down the ground. Long kick to full forward. The Ox was trying to clear a path, but he was beaten in the end. And good kick too out onto the wing. Cook takes the mark. It's a good play from Clement to get them forward. Pavlich, Black, under pressure. In the end, it comes back to Cook. Oh, he's held on to for a while and holds on to it for a while. Lee and Chally put the head down. And goes Michael, feeding past McManus. And the Demon defence able to combine and safely see the ball up to Robertson, who takes the ball and gets it on old Farmer. That was a bit of
matter anyway. They're still going to get it.
Over finessing. Uze gives it to Farmer. Can he get through here? Takes them on. Oh. Come on, Jeff. Have a shot. He does. To the
goal of the year. Goal of the year. Absolute goal of the year.
Oh, it's showtime now.
That was just absolutely sensational.
I was going to give him a spray for that little tap on.
Yeah.
I won't do it. I will not spray him after that. He's redeemed himself.
Look, we watch again, Doug. That was a tap on that you referred to.
I don't think.
But look at the three there. They outnumber. And they keep running. Bang. Oh, look at this. How's your father?
At full speed, too. That's hard to do that.
He's a genius. What did you say? It's showtime.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
he says, join in with me. I'm on fire here. He's a ripper, isn't he?
Entertainment time. A la Jeff Farmer, eh? This bloke played pretty well. And to think that he came from one of the country leagues. I think it was up at Myrtleford, was it?
Yeah. Myrtleford. Here he goes again.
Gee, he was held off the ball there, and the umpire allowed play to go on. And eventually McManus off the left has kicked it out on the full. Well, Fremantle would do well to just hold Melbourne up here. The Demons have kicked, what have they kicked? About 23 goals now. 22 or 23 goals.
23 goals.
And if they get close to 30, it will be an embarrassment for Fremantle. There's still plenty of time left for Melbourne to add to their goal tally. Freo have to stand up and make every kick hard to get. Pavlich probably could have nearly ran it through. Look at Uze's kick. Woden take it to the ground, got the hand pass away. Who's on the end of it? One of the teammates in Schwartz. Cook shrugs the tackle.
Good kick.
And the kick has been dropped by Fletcher. And he's tackled over the top, Lee and Chally, and he's been penalised for holding the ball.
Well,
now, you couldn't rub salt into the wound any more so there, could you, than penalise Fletcher, who has been a tremendous goer for Fremantle. Uze into the middle and slipping over was McDonald. He kicks to full forward.
Oh, no!
Farmer,
free kick.
He took it easy.
Free kick.
Is it?
Has to be a free kick to Farmer against kick it, I reckon, Robbo.
Gee, he looked a certainty to take the mark. Yes, the umpire indicating that there was a push out.
That's a free kick. Fair call, Robbo.
Yeah, well, I thought Jeffrey Farmer may have taken his eyes off the ball there when it was coming in. Probably should have taken the mark.
Wasn't much in that, was there?
Didn't like it much, Hutto, on that one.
Well, I guess the reverse angle would show just how high the tackle was. But
Contact, yeah.
certainly wasn't contact when he flew for the ball. When he was going for the mark, he was not interfered with at all. It was only afterwards.
Farmer from about 30 metres, slight angle, going for goal number 8. He's put it through. 8 goals to Jeffrey Farmer. A big return for a small forward. And with just under 12 minutes left, it is not beyond the realms of possibility that he could shoot double figures.
That was
in goals.
pure acting from Farmer, I reckon.
Oh, he hit him. You didn't think Cook made contact?
Not in the head. Not from the other angle. Didn't look like it at all. Well, he's got 8 anyway.
Yep.
It's the most important thing. Out of the middle. Good tap from Simmons. But Black it was that got the Dockers going. Ward off half back. It's a bit like that day we had at the MCG where I think they played Collingwood and it was just the Jeffrey Farmer show. Free kick, I think, for a throw there. Goes to Ashley Prescott. The most goals by a Melbourne player against Fremantle previously today was Jeff Farmer with 6, so he's increased that. Or Norwich running out of room. Played it like he was a defender. Let's have another look at the last Farmer goal. Here's the front on view now. He goes for the mark there. Nothing wrong with that. Just sneaked a tiny little hand on his cheek for about 1 second, Dougie.
I'm not sure on that. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure there. Anthony on that one.
Close to the boundary line. Wrapped up.
Gee, the Moyle family have got to you, haven't they?
Oh, have they? What? I got a fair cook this week after young Brett Moore got rubbed out for 3 weeks. I told him to pack his footy trip bag.
Well,
and
you
I
were
was right.
spot
I got
on.
it
Yeah,
right.
well, the thing is...
Don't be scared by Ivy, Dougie.
No, look, the thing is that television does unveil quite a bit of this game, and all you're doing is just being honest with what you see. I mean, you can't take people for mugs these days. They've seen so much footy
And now it's
that
going
they
on,
are,
don't they?
well, they're learned now. You know, I mean, you could have said, say, prior to 20 years ago, you could have said that, yes, you can teach people about football, but
They know it.
They see so much footy, and they're learning all the time themselves.
Well,
That's a goal.
quick
It's a goal.
snap.
Oh, over
Oh,
post.
bad luck. It could be a 100-point victory this for Melbourne. I reckon that's a pretty good motivation for Fremantle to try and stop that being the case. 24-7 to 8-10.
The team's been good for Melbourne. I haven't seen much of him this year. Daniel Ward, he's only played a couple of games, I reckon.
Yeah,
this
wouldn't
year.
have
He's only just come in this week.
Has he?
Yeah. He
Yeah,
did play
last-
earlier.
Did he?
Yep.
He was very good last year with Peter Welsh and halfback Frank Robbo. He wouldn't have played much this year, I reckon.
Just the second game for him.
Is
for the
it?
year.
Yeah. Was he injured? He must have had a pretty...
I think he's played a fair bit in the
Was he
VFL
second?
with,
Okay,
with
VFL.
Sandringham. Coops kicks the ball back for Fremantle,
Oh,
and Pavlich drops a straightforward marking attempt and then surrenders the ball to Godfrey, and Melbourne will go down the ground. Uze deliberately lets the ball slip off his boot. Leoncelli gathers, and pretty good work by Bootsma. He was outnumbered 3-1, but at least he has forced a boundary throw in as we see David Schwartz retire to the interchange bench with 10 minutes left, and Jeff White comes back onto the ground. Simmons doing the ruck work. Up against Michael. Knocked forward by Johnston. Well gathered by Black. Onto the left. Kicks it high in towards centre half forward. Marking contest. Uze gets rid of his opponent and then delivers the hand pass. All in one motion. What about the understanding there? Ward was on the end of it and then kicked it forward, and the mark has been taken by Bruce. Short kick, and Ward gets it back.
This is a young bloke I was just touching on. Ward.
Rigoni from 50 metres. Guy Rigoni, flying shot at goal. Off to the left, his first score in the game, a behind. 152, plays 58. So 94 points in favour of Melbourne with 9 minutes left.
that is a booming kick.
It's gone 80 metres.
Almost Jeff Ferring-like into the middle of the ground. Simmons around the body. It'll take Melbourne 4 kicks to get it back from where it came. Johnston just didn't quite nail the kick. Neitz couldn't quite hang on to it. Where's Farmer? He's in the square. Just thought we better let you know in case the ball goes near him. White kicks it over his head and through for a behind. Farmer gives a bit of a glare back to Jeff White and says, kick it to me.
That reminds me of a little joke about the number of Toomey brothers that used to play football.
Oh, the David Toomey and Pat
Nick
Toomey and
Pat Toomey and Bill Toomey and Kick It Toomey.
And Handball Toomey's his cousin. What about Knock It Toomey? Let's lift it up a bit, Hutto. Come on.
Yes. Disturbing
come on,
story,
Robbo.
that. Short kick
You're
out
better than
wide.
that, Robbo.
Fierce handball onto the outer side. Craig Callaghan goes for a run and fires the pass into Pavlitz. This time he takes the mark successfully. Callaghan again, good delivery, and C. Shell goes up and takes the mark. So Shell about 55 out from goal, right into the square. Modra and Johnston came from the side. That's out of bounds.
Gee, we're not doing you any favours by continuing with our laughter, Hutto.
You apologise for that, Hutto. You've done well to keep going. I tell you, he's done a good job. David Neitz started the game beautifully. Young Fuster's gone. Brendan Fuster normally plays at centre half forward. He's cut him out of the game. I don't think he's kicked a goal on Fuster.
Oh, look at Bootsma. Flying shot at goal just off to the left for Fremantle. They can't buy one, can they? They kicked 2 goals in the first quarter, a couple in the second. They kicked 4 in the third, and they are goalless so far in this last term. Very ordinary scoreline in modern football, just 8 goals, 11. But I suppose on the other hand, you just have to give more credit to the Demons. They've worked beautifully as a unit. They've had contributions from the bench. Each player that's come on has done something. Woden kicks it forward. Again, it's 2-on-1. Bruce down to Robertson. Tackled a little high, ducked his head. Play goes on. Bruce trying to break clear with the ball. But the umpire has decided to bounce. Justin Schmidt with Corin Rowe and John Harvey officiating in this game. Johnston again, handball away, knocked forward by McDonald, but only as far as Michael, is it? It's been ridden into the ground. It's Coops, and he'll take the free kick. The kick touched off the boot. Well gathered by Pavlich. Handball Hazelby will kick a goal, won't he? Yes, he will. Paul Hazelby will kick a goal for Fremantle. Good kick and goal. Probably their best passage of play for the day, which resulted in an excellent snapshot by Paul Hazelby.
No doubt about that, Robbo. And we see here Ingleson try to punch the ball. Quick hands there by Matthew Pavlich to find Paul Hazelby. Has been a very good play once again. Hazelby's had 20 touches, probably turned the footy over probably only on 2 or 3 occasions, and of course kicking his first goal.
So there's 6.5 minutes remaining in this match, and Melbourne, as you can see there, well and truly in control. 24-9 to 9-11. Michael had a couple of cracks at it that time. Advantage was going to be paid. Now it is paid. Out of the middle, Bootsma. No free kick down the ground. Shell was taken under it. Waterhouse's kick goes nowhere. And the ball out of bounds. Jeff White in the ruck today has had 18 hit-outs. Troy Simmons has had 8. So they have dominated the hit-outs. Michael's had 5 and Bandy 4 for the Fremantle Dockers. So that just shows where Melbourne's superiority has been at the clearance situation. There's another example of it, although the kick is a little strong. Out of bounds on the full. Leoncelli has 21 possessions for the day, 9 and 12. McDonald 10 and 10. Farmer 13 and 5. Ward 14 and 5. Oh dear. Bootsma kicking it straight back out on the full. Adam Uze, most possessions on the ground. 31 possessions, 20 kicks and 11 handballs. Troy Cooks had 21 for the Dockers. And Heath Black 23. Kick it coming through, couldn't take it with him. No free kick. And a bounce, the final result.
So less than 6 minutes left in the game. Melbourne 24-9, Freo 9-11. A margin of 88 points in favour of the Demons. Umpire bouncing about 55, 60 metres from the Fremantle goal. Kicked out of there by Leon Celli. Robertson just maybe kept out of the marking contest. Actually, the free kick didn't go to Robertson. It's finished up being awarded to Green. Green's kicked to half forward. Oh, great leap and mark by David Neitz. Handball off. Johnston will kick a goal. Travis Johnston goes bang. And Travis Johnston has kicked Melbourne's 25th goal. You know, I was speaking to one of our cameramen before the game, and he mentioned that an interesting stat would be, see how Neitz takes the mark, but he's prepared to handball off, and the man running with no one really on his mark, kicking the goal. That would not be another interesting stat, just to see how many goals are kicked from running shots at goal as distinct from set shots, which are marks and free kicks.
Well, Joe likes it. 25-9 to 9-11. Simmons is really giving them first use of the ball. As I said, dominated in that area. White outstanding for the most of the match, but Simmons has had 9 hit-outs since he's come on.
He's been very good, Hutto. How would you feel if you're Neil Danaher in the Melbourne club? Would you want to finish 4th?
Oh yeah,
it's a serious question.
Oh,
you're going to cop Essendon.
Yeah, but you've got to
cop them.
You've got to get over the top of them to win the flag. And Melbourne, once they're in 4th position,
they get a double
won't
chance.
Be satisfied with anything less than winning the premiership.
They get a double chance.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Okay.
And they came within 13 points of beating Essendon. They've probably given the Bombers more of a shake than any other team in many ways.
My word.
Yep. Okay.
So the answer is yes, Dougie.
Essendon did play, I think, when they played Melbourne. Essendon had played Brisbane in the rain, I think, on the Monday night.
Yeah. But, the battle for the 8 is at a very interesting stage, with all the teams around about, 5 through to 10 doing pretty well over the weekend. Melbourne needing to win today just to maintain their place in the top 4, which they've done. And they play Geelong next week. And some very big matches coming up in the last 2 weeks to decide places in the 8. 4 minutes remaining in this match, and the Fremantle Dockers would be hoping that 4 minutes goes very, very quickly. Uze kicks quickly. Clement just edging out, takes the mark. Melbourne fans wanted a free, but the umpire said no. Or was that a push? Yes, it was. Daniel Ward not happy with it.
It'll be his first mistake, Daniel Ward. He's been very good. He's playing his second game back in the D side.
The hands in the back of Stephen Coops. Now Pavlich, called to play on. Sets it up to full forward. Shell! Oh, couldn't quite hang on to it. McManus pretty hard at it. Callaghan onto the boot. Into the square. There's a good kick in the end. And Norwich takes the mark and can line them up. About 10 metres out.
Hello, you spoke about big matches. The Swans a couple of weeks ago we thought had no hope. They beat Collingwood, then they beat the Kangaroos. They play Richmond next week here on Saturday afternoon. And the following week Geelong play Sydney at Shell Stadium. A couple of crackers.
Oh, how they what?
Norwich just squeezes it through. He's a former Demon and he's kicked the goal. $25-9, 159 to 10-11-71.
One of your mates, Doug? Choco Royal?
Choco Royal, assistant coach, done a very good job since crossing from the Western Bulldogs. And his ambition one day is to coach at AFL level. And I think he's very, very close to the mark. And I wouldn't be surprised that he would put his hand up certainly for the St Kilda job. He's a great football brain, Brian Royal. It wouldn't surprise me that he certainly may get a job next year if one does come up, Robbo, for Brian Royal.
Would he take you with him, Doug?
I'll have to ask him to take me, Hutto. I don't think he would. I'm happy doing this.
25-9 to 10-11. Melbourne lead. 2 minutes left in the game. And Michael got first hands on the ball there. McDonald to Johnston. Johnston over his left shoulder, and a great mark to David Neitz once again. Go back and kick a long 50-metre goal, David.
No, kick it to Farmer.
He has, and he's put it. Jeffrey, a little early. The ball swinging and swaying in the breeze, maybe. Kicked away by Dale Kickett to Clement. Clement goes to Bandy. Bandy with no one really to kick to. Bootsman, but the ball bouncing awkwardly. Johnston does well. Went on with it too. McDonald, Leon Celli got past, but then the hand pass chopped off by Black. And Michael Dodd, then McManus across the half-forward line. Uze and Cook, they've both been good players for their respective teams. Prescott in towards the full forward area. Mark taken by Nicholson. Not prepared to back himself, and eventually the umpire's blown his whistle. So maybe he paid the mark to Alistair Nicholson, and he still gave it off to McDonald. McDonald, a long kick down towards half forward. Good mark taken there by Clement.
Last minute of the match. And the Dockers trying to mount something. Cook out very wide to half forward. It's a long kick in from Dodd. Was that hanging on? Yes,
good
it
call.
was.
Yeah, good call there, Hutto.
And Coops might have one of the last shots at goal in the match.
What about poor Tony Modra today? He's had a pretty ordinary day, but I think you mentioned earlier, Robbo, the fact that the ball has not been delivered too well to him, has it?
Well, look, you've gone pretty ordinary when you've got a scoreline of 25-9 to 10-11, and it means that the pressure has been applied by the opposition all over the ground, and if that's the case and they continue to do it, well, the ball has to come in ordinarily.
Coops runs around, and gee, it wasn't a bad kick.
Goal.
Was not a bad kick from Stephen Coops. So that's something for him to take with him.
They have got a lot of talent. I think it's just got to be instilled into them that this wonderful game of Australian rules is played a hell of a lot on passion. Would you agree with that, Doug?
I do agree with that, no doubt about that, Robbo. And you're dead right. They have got a lot of talent, the Dockers, you know, led by young Hazelby. He certainly would
Clem Michael.
Yeah, Clem Michael, Heath Black. No doubt Jess Sinclair may have dropped off a little bit. I was a big rap from the last couple of years. Hadn't seemed to be playing much footy this year. Young Lee Brown has got a potential. Stephen Coops, just then we saw that. Potential's there.
25-9 to 11-11. So the margin 82 points in favour of Melbourne. They may have a chance to build on that here. Meets his mark. He was trying maybe to bring Jeff White into the goal-kicking list.
Have a shot.
But he's going to go back and deliver maybe the last kick of the game. The Melbourne captain, David Neitz, has kicked 3 goals. The leading goal kicker in the game, Jeffrey Farmer, with 8. Neitz from 50 metres. Gets underneath it. It'll go all the way to the goal line, and does that score register? I don't think it does. It does. Yes, it is a behind. So just the last rights there, Jeffrey Farmer and Sean McManus, but the score from David Neitz has been registered to the Melbourne scoreline, which now reads 25-10, 160. Fremantle 11-11-77. So that's an 83-point margin. The biggest victory that Melbourne have had over Fremantle. They've created quite a few records in this match, have the Demons. Young Brown there on
just
screen,
showing walking around, which is good to see.
he was knocked unconscious in a clash with Clive Waterhouse.
Well, a big win to the Demons. Jeff Farmer kicked 8. Green, Neitz and Swartz 3 goals. And didn't the fans love it?